Vegas at the MGM Grand Garden Arena for the most anticipated fight of 2009. Tonight, pound for pound #1 Manny Pacquiao faces Ricky Hatton. Pacquiao is currently the consensus best in the sport, but has never fought at 140 pounds, a weight at which Hatton has reigned supreme since his 2005 dismantling of Costa Zoo. And before our main event, we have a loaded undercard of 4 fights. First, former Cuban amateur champ Erislandy Lara, in his 5th pro fight, takes on Chris Gray. Next, Russian Olympic middleweight Matvey Korobov, in his 5th pro fight, faces Anthony Bartinelli. Then, in a last-minute change, up-and-coming Brooklyn native Daniel Jacobs moves into the spotlight against Michael Walker. And just before our main event, veteran Humberto Soto defends his newly acquired 130-pound title belt against Benoit Gaudet. Pacquiao versus Hatton is being brought to you by MGM Grand, the city of entertainment in Las Vegas. Rockstar energy drink. Party like a rock star. Tecate beer. Cerveza con character. Southwest Airlines, low fares, low hidden fees. Also, HBO pay-per-view, the best in pay-per-view entertainment, brought to you by HBO. Hello again, I'm Jim Lampley, and welcome to Las Vegas for a very big night of boxing. It would have been a huge night anyway, with the world's #1 pound-for-pound fighter, Manny Pacquiao, fighting against the linear champion of the 140-pound weight class, Ricky Hatton, in a main event which, as we've already told you, ranks as perhaps the most anticipated fight of the year 2009. But the circumstances surrounding the fight were multiplied and magnified this morning when Floyd Mayweather, after a nearly 1-year retirement from the sport, the former #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, announced that he's coming back and has agreed to fight on July 18 against Juan Manuel Marquez, who has risen in Mayweather's absence to the #2 spot on the pound-for-pound lists behind Pacquiao. So Pacquiao fights Hatton tonight. Hatton looking to win and move up in those mythical pound-for-pound rankings. Marquez hoping to solidify his position by beating Mayweather. As Mayweather returns in July, Mayweather will be favored against Marquez, seen as the larger man, and he announced this morning at his news conference, "I'm still the #1 guy, and I'm coming back for the purpose of proving it." So there's high drama both in and out of the ring as we get ready for that main event later on tonight. Right now, let's look at the tail of the tape for the fighters who are already in the ring for our first preliminary fight. Erislandy Lara, 26 years old. After his decorated amateur career in Cuba, he actually had to defect twice to get to this professional circumstance. Takes on a fighter 7 years older than him. 1-inch height advantage for Gray. Half-inch arm length advantage for Lara, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They both weighed in a pound or two over the junior middleweight limit, and tonight have rehydrated up to 162 pounds. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Erislandy Lara Chris Gray fight is scheduled for 4 rounds using the rules of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case it is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 3 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell on any round, including the 4th and final round. Jim.
Remember, 5 live fights on the card tonight. This is the first of the 4 preliminaries. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introduction.
From the MGM Grand Golden Boy Promotions and Top Rank Incorporated, in association with MP Promotions and Hatton Promotions, present this next contest. It is sponsored by Rockstar Energy Drink. Party like a rock star. Tecate, cerveza con character. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees, and smart communications. And now we go to the junior middleweight division. This bout scheduled for 4 rounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, official weight 156 pounds. Professional record 11-7 with 1 KO to his credit. Fighting out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, classy Chris Gray. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, officially weighing 155 pounds. Professional record, a perfect one. 4 bouts, 4 victories, including 3 knockouts from Guantanamo, Cuba. Erislandy, el oro de Guantanamo, Lara.
Okay, here we go. Mira, venga. Okay. Caballeros, gentlemen, you already received your instructions. Usted recibe instrucciones. Mira, aquí está bien, aquí no. Right here is good, anything below is low. Mira, aquí está bien, aquí no. Right here is good, anything below is low. I want a good, clean fight. Yo quiero una pelea limpia. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Escúchame, cuídate. Listo, ready? Let's go. Vámonos.
And now I'm joined live at ringside by expert commentator Emmanuel Stewart and HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant.
Lara, a celebrated Cuban amateur, missed the press conference the other day by about 10 or 15 minutes. He was busy in the hotel chapel getting married.
Well, that's what everybody comes to Vegas for.
You know, I've heard a lot about all of the Cubans that's coming here, but I've heard more about him than any of the other Cubans. And as a matter of fact, about 10 minutes ago, I was with Oscar De La Hoya himself, and he is just so excited about this particular fighter.
Well, look at the body. I mean, you know, that's shades of Roy Jones as a middleweight with the very strong legs and the rippled upper chest. Not always an indicator that a guy's going to be a terrific fighter, but certainly it appears that he has the physical goods of a real athlete.
You know, coming from the amateur program, you know, especially in Cuba, I understand he had over 300 amateur fights. He fights so professional. Places his punches well, his punches with effect. You know, a lot of guys coming from the amateur program for so long, they're punching without any power and wasting a lot of punches sometimes. He looks very professional.
I should add that he's also wearing knee braces on both of his knees. I have no idea if he has some sort of chronic problem or not.
Almost looks like a football player with the high boots, high socks, braces on both knees, and that ultra padded upper body.
And although he defected from Cuba twice, he's wearing the Cuban colors, so perhaps trying to build a fan base down there in Florida.
And unlike his countryman Yuriorkis Gamboa, a very solid, hands-high defensive posture.
All of the fighters that come from Cuba or most of the countries, they still have a lot of respect and love for the countries because a lot of them still have relatives there, and they just left because of the opportunity to advance their careers. But their heart is still, I'm quite sure, in Cuba. But I'm watching how he places punches, and when he gets away from a punch, he'll slip or he'll dip just enough to let you miss and still be in position to punch back. He never overextends, getting away too much on his defensive moves.
A good point. Very little wasted motion,
right there.
Emmanuel.
Very little wasted motion, and always in a position to execute.
And he's fighting an opponent who is obviously not going to take any chances, so that he's going to have to break him down systematically.
Which he is doing through the course of the first round. He got a left hand up between Gray's guard in the last exchange and two good body shots in his most recent combination.
You notice he's been shooting a lot of left-hand punches to the midsection, setting it up to sooner or later he's going to throw a left hand over the top. That's what a lot of intelligent fighters do. They're going to get him to watch him for the left hand to the body, and he's going to go right to the chin in a moment.
Mostly backing up and trying to keep a peekaboo guard up, but Lara got several significant blows through the guard in round one.
You see how he protects himself? He protects himself to the body. Touch him with the body top, and then finish off up top with the right hand. And you'll see, you're going to catch him. You're doing everything good. You're changing it up. You're doing good. You're hearing? Everything's good.
Beat his ass when you stepped in. Okay. Number 4. Number 8, you could just do it with him. All right, take a little while. He ain't nobody spit right there. Ain't nobody special. All right, now how you really feel?
I feel good.
All right, you can drink that. Drink that. There you go.
By CompuBox count, the first round very one-sided. Lara 22 out of 59, 37%, 12 of 26 power shots. And Gray landed 2 of 30 punches. Chris Gray is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, with a record of 11-7 with 1 KO. So obviously Lara is not being prescribed any big tests yet.
No, but I will give Craig a lot of credit. I'm watching. He's outmatched in terms of skill and everything.
And he just got caught with a left hand.
But he's still fighting a fight where he's trying to win, and it's a very good performance still on his head, considering how overmatched he is. Now, Laura is stepping it up now. He's mixing up a variety of things, and Gray does not know what to expect now.
Don't hold. No. No, I got something.
On the back of Gray's trunks are the words ripple
Stop.
effect. You can use your own imagination of what that might mean.
Another hard left hand by Lara.
Yeah, he's got very close to him, and then he shot a right hook to the left. He's, you know, at this stage, it's just too much in terms of now it's a left uppercut, straight left hand lead to the chin, left hand to the chin. And, you know, Gray does not have the experience to handle all of this. In fact, very few of the top middleweights in the world right today, Kelly Pavlik included, they would have problems with this guy to a certain degree in a short fight.
It's easy to see the profundity of his technical skill level. I think of American prospects, post-Olympic prospects whom I've seen at similar weight levels, and the very talented Vanish Martirosyan comes to mind. Always have the sense when you're watching Martirosyan, as his career has developed, that he's reaching and rushing and trying to make an impact right away, often in every round of the fight. Look at Lara, how he holds his ground, minimizes his motion, waits for exactly the right opportunities, takes his time, and makes it count when he gets close.
And always has perfect balance and position. Very seldom do you see him extended where he's out of position.
And this is what we've seen in only 2 rounds.
And if Cuba ever comes to the point where they allow professional athletes, we'll see many more like Lara.
Where they come in here, whether Cuba allows them or not to leave it.
Up.
Breathe. We're doing good. We're doing good. The only thing you have to do is move your right hand a bit more. So, and that entertains him, and then you put the left in. Left hook, stop him, and then the straight left. Remember we worked it? Breathe now, breathe. Want some water? Let's go, we're doing good. We're doing good, bro.
Here we see Laura coming in with a combination. I think he threw a right, and then he came with a left uppercut, and he finishes up with a straight left right through the glove. 4 punches all came from different angles.
He made an interesting comment in the last round, Emmanuel, to the effect that you thought Lara could provide some trouble even to a finished, polished fighter like Kelly Pavlik at this point.
I really do believe that. For 4 rounds or so at this stage, he would be a problem for any middleweight in the world.
Including
Junior
Paul Williams? Could he
Paul's,
fight at this measured pace and create trouble for Paul Williams?
Yes, he would, because his defense, he punches with enough power that he would probably get more respect and slow Paul down a split second. The guys like Winky, they didn't have the power to really slow him down.
I think that's true of many outstanding young fighters, but what you don't know is how they would do in a long fight, how they would deal with adversity, all those kinds of things. But in a short fight, many of them have the talent to fight the best fighters out there.
In my gym workouts, most all of my top world champions, they prefer to fight with good, fast amateurs, and they usually lose a lot. But yes, while we change them every 3 rounds, we put in someone fresh. But for just pure talent, amateur fighters oftentimes will win the early part.
Stop.
The difference, of course, is that amateurs are accustomed with fighting with headgear for 3 rounds.
That's correct.
And fighting without headgear for 8, 10, 12 rounds is an entirely different enterprise.
And they don't punch for power, they just go for points as amateurs. This guy here, lawyer, is nowhere in the world that someone could tell me if I didn't know that he was from Cuba and from an amateur program. He fights so professional. Usually they're upright. They're just throwing 1 or 2 clear punches. Everything he does is very professional, very well placed. And his movements in and out, bending down low, slipping and sliding, definitely not amateur.
This is only the second time in his professional career that he's gone past 1 round.
You sure you didn't get him to defect, Emmanuel?
No, but Oscar is very, very proud of him. So I don't know, maybe he had something to do with it.
You don't own that speedboat that he fled on, right?
No, wait.
Well, we mentioned how he would eventually bring the left hand over the top, and you just saw it. Now he brings it up and under in the manner of an uppercut, but moments ago he threw it as a chopping over the top left hand. This is after, as Emmanuel had pointed out to you, he delivered several body blows straight to the middle of the stomach with the left hand in rounds 1 and 2.
Yeah, now he's just mixing up. He's doing so many things right now that Chris has no idea what's going to happen next or where it's going to come from.
Extraordinary relaxation. You know, and I want to say for a young fighter, but he's 26. He's had more than 300 amateur fights. This is his 5th fight in a professional career for which he is obviously eminently ready. This is no raw prospect.
No, he's definitely going to be a very serious fighter in the middleweight division in the future.
In a moment, we're going to show you something new from our CompuBox graphics arsenal. And that will be a look at the location of the 79 landed punches for Erislandy Lara in the first 3 rounds. 79 out of 163 is getting very close to the magic 50% mark. And here are the targets that Lara has been hitting. And of course, as a southpaw, he lands many shots to the right side of Gray's face. 35 punches landed already on the chin or directly on the target in front of the face. 12 left-hand body shots down there by the right side, the kidney and the liver. And then a smaller assortment of punches to the other side, mostly landed, of course, with the right hand.
Go ahead, I got it.
In case you were curious about how Lara defected twice from Cuba, on one occasion he was with the Cuban team in Brazil in the Pan American Games, and he defected, but then the local constabulary found him and deported him back to Cuba. And then a year or 2 later, he sped away on a speedboat. So he obviously knows what you do, Emmanuel, that he has professional skills.
And evidently very determined to. He was determined to escape and get here. But, you know, the determination that I'm impressed with in this fight most is coming from Chris Grader. I mean, he's been so outclassed in every way, but still he's fighting, and he's fighting still a fairly good fight. He hasn't given up. He's got it with some clean punches, and he knows he's outclassed, and he's still doing the best that he can. And it just, you know, most guys would have fell down in this case. Just quit.
So, given the vast talent and skill level gap here, is there plenty for Landy to learn in a fight like this? Or for Lara to learn, I should say, Erislandy Lara?
Yes,
in a fight like this?
Yeah, because, you know, the guy, he still hasn't been able to land that clean punch the way one where, you know, Chris's head would be snapping back. He lands blows, but he can't put 3 or 4 of them together. So and every time he slows down, Chris tries to come back and try to start attacking him. So I think this is a good fight.
What about the event training, Emmanuel? I mean, the arena is less than 1/3 full. It's nothing compared to the crowd that we're going to experience once Hatton and Pacquiao are in the arena. But will Lara walk away from this and say, all right, I went through my first big fight experience in Vegas?
Yes, he will. I mean, and then after this stuff, he's going to change up. He's going to be sitting you in the crowd, just feeling the excitement, the energy that's going to be generated throughout this arenas. it's a tremendous experience, especially for someone coming from Cuba to be right here in Las Vegas at a big Magna fight like this year.
Stop, stop, stop.
I'm not sure Gray has actually managed to land a single clean punch to the head. But Lara is that good with his hand defense.
Yeah, but it's not that Gray hasn't tried.
No, he's tried.
He's tried.
No, I mean, I think Chris Gray's put forth, I agree with you, he's put forth a heck of an effort. If anything, he's gotten better from round to round.
And this is a great victory for him, the fact that he went the limit.
So we will await the decision on Erislandy Lara and Chris Gray. And you got a full 4-round look at a potential force in the middleweight division.
He didn't even like it.
Harold, how'd you score the thing?
Okay, Jim, 4 rounds to nothing, 40-36, Erislandy Lara. Jim, I didn't think that he won any round really big enough to give him a 10-8, but certainly 4 very decisive 10-9 rounds. Wasn't a rather hard fight to score. Wouldn't surprise me if all 3 judges had it 40-36 like I did. And like you've been saying, Erislandy Lara is certainly better than a 4-round fighter.
The decision is no shame for Lara, who's clearly just as much boxer as puncher. In the next fight, we're going to be seeing a former Russian amateur star who has already developed a reputation as such a puncher that anything other than a knockout will be a disappointment. And let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand, all 4 judges scored about the same. Dick Houck, Robert Hoyle, and Ricardo Ocasio have it 40-36, all to the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated from Guantanamo, Cuba, Erislandy El Oro de Guantanamo, Lara.
So Guantanamo opens and Erislandy Lara emerges, headed toward potential stardom in American professional boxing. Landed 97 more punches than Gray. Threw 68 more punches than Gray. Connected at the magic 50% level. And I say that because anytime you see somebody land 50% of their punches by CompuBox count, that is a devastating performance. If you land 65% of your power shots, normally you have knocked your opponent out. But it was an economic, measured performance for Lara. Another beautiful evening here in Las Vegas. The backdrop of the final episode of Pacquiao Hatton 24/7, which premiered on HBO last night. Still to come. Matvey Korobov, a young Russian southpaw puncher, fights Anthony Bartinelli. Daniel Jacobs, another punching star from Brooklyn, takes on Michael Walker. Longtime veteran Humberto Soto faces Canadian Benoit Gaudet. And then in our main event, Manny Pacquiao versus Ricky Hatton. Let's take a look at the next HBO pay-per-view event.
We're back.
This isn't an ordinary race.
This year's going to be better than ever.
25 champion drivers.
You can't miss this.
On dirt, bragging rights on the line.
Tony got lucky last year.
This is the Prelude.
We're on a new mission.
Help us support military families and injured soldiers.
We are all in this together. The 5th annual
Prelude to the Dream.
New cause,
Same race.
Wednesday, June 3rd.
Contact your pay-per-view provider to order.
Manny Pacquiao's mother, Dionysia Pacquiao, made the trip from the Philippines here to Las Vegas with the intention of attending one of her son's prize fights live for the first time in her life. But once she got here, she backed away from that experience and decided that she would be more comfortable going somewhere quiet to pray, even though she says she has no legitimate concern as to whether Manny will lose or get hurt. She's utterly confident he'll be fine, but her nervous system will hold up better through the praying than through the watching. That's the determination. Meanwhile, Ricky Hatton's family gathers with him at all of his big boxing events, including this one. His brother Matthew Hatton has already fought on the undercard and scored what was for him a significant and satisfying victory. And now you see as Hatton chats with Golden Boy Promotions impresario Oscar De La Hoya and perhaps discusses some of the techniques he'll be using in the fight. Yesterday, both Hatton and Pacquiao showed up before a raucous crowd, mostly Hatton supporters, 6,500 of them, for the weigh-in in this same arena. And remember, both fighters weighing in at the 140-pound limit, the junior welterweight division.
It takes about 30 seconds for a weigh-in. 5,000 people were turned away, and they were cheering and singing for 3 hours until this took place.
In the fight, the world has been waiting for the...
Later we'll tell you the unofficial weights. I mean, there's no point in you trying to keep those numbers in your head now, but when they enter the ring, you will know what the guys actually weigh. Here's the tale of the tape for Matvey Korobov and Anthony Bartinelli. You'll see the 3-year age advantage for Korobov coming from his Russian amateur background. He fought in Beijing and turned professional immediately thereafter. They're both 5 feet 11 inches tall. An arm length advantage of 1 inch for the American fighter Bartinelli. They both weighed in within a pound or pound and a half of the middleweight limit. And tonight, Korobov has gone up to 170. Bartinelli comes in at 166. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Matvey Korobov Anthony Bartinelli fight is scheduled for 4 rounds using the Nevada rules that you see on your screen. Jim, real quick, the 4 criteria that the judges will use to score each individual round: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense, with a strong emphasis on clean, effective punching. Jim!
Let's go to Michael Buffer for the introductions.
This bout brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions and Top Rank Incorporated in association with MB Promotions and Hatton Promotions. Sponsored by Rockstar Energy Drink. Party like a rock star. Tecate Cerveza con Carácter. Southwest Airlines low fares, no hidden fees, and smart communications. This contest scheduled for 4 rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue, official weight 161 pounds, professional record 20 victories, including 13 knockouts, 12 defeats, and 2 bouts even. From Phoenix, Arizona, Anthony Powerhouse Bartinelli. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red, officially weighing 161 1/2 pounds. He has a perfect professional record. 4 fights, 4 victories, including 4 KOs. From Orotukan, Russia, the undefeated Matt Korobov.
Gentlemen, you had your instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I want to remind you of now, when I tell you stop, what that means is stop whatever you're doing, give me a clean break. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Let's do this.
Well, there was a time, Emmanuel, when we did not see big-time punchers from Eastern Europe. And I guess the Klitschkos began to put the lie to that notion. But here's a Russian guy with a reputation for putting people to sleep already early in his professional career.
You know, it's really amazing. All of these fighters that are coming from all these foreign countries, and they seemingly adapting to the American style of fighting so quickly. And over there, it used to be just to be on the national team, and everybody thought amateur everything, and they're learning so quickly. And this guy right here has created a lot of excitement right here. As a matter of fact, with him and another young guy we got coming up, Daniel Jacobs, and the other guy, Laura Neves, that all in the same middleweight division, that in the next 5 to 10 years, the middleweight division will once again become a very exciting division, much like it was in the 70s and the 60s.
Korobov wasting no time. He didn't bother to use a jab to set up the straight left hand. That's the bomb. He throws it straight over the top. Now he hooks off the jab. Within the first 30 seconds, he shows you some of the weaponry that makes him the power puncher he is.
Yeah, beautiful fence, lots of nice fence. His punches are short and accurate, and he's punching and accurate with both hands. Straight left, right jab, right hook. And always, like most of these kids is coming with good amateur backgrounds from the foreign countries, their balance and position is perfect.
He's landed 2 straight left hands on the face of Bartinelli, and Bartinelli has taken them pretty well. The crowd is beginning to ooh and ah, and Bartinelli wobbled momentarily after that one. There's a right hook, and you can see that Korobov has some mustard on the right hook as well.
He's a complete fighter. Could you see in the future big super fights here in Las Vegas with guys like Lara and him headlining? And that's the way boxing is headed in the middleweight division right now.
It's hard for me to imagine that this guy is going to stay very long in the middleweight division. To me, Emmanuel, looking at that body, I've got to think he's a super middleweight or a light heavyweight.
Well, I should really say middleweight and super middleweight, because even with Daniel Jacobs, all of these kids are big middleweights.
Yeah, fascinating that we're seeing right here at the beginning of the show, Lara, Korobov, and you're going to see Daniel Jacobs in the next fight, and they're all in the same weight neighborhood as they begin their professional careers. Very exciting. Martinelli's had 34 pro fights, so he's seen some guys. He's had 13 knockouts of his own fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona.
But he has never saw nothing like this. I mean, this right now, be honest with you, if I was managing Kelly Pavlik right now, whoever's the middleweight champion, I would be very, very concerned and be glad that I'm finishing up my career and not having to be another 5 or 10 years to fight these type guys. Because this guy's doing everything, and very few of the top middleweights in the world could hold up with this guy.
Well, of the top middleweights in the world, the only one who is as powerfully built as Korobov is Arthur Abraham of Germany. And he would give up, I'm going to say, 3 inches in height to Korobov.
Well, yeah, these guys have this great amateur background. That's what is really amazing. Even though you see him pull back, he was pulling back just enough to let the guy miss, but never jumping too far back.
And there goes the mouth guard. Bartinelli's mouth guard is somewhere behind us on press row.
And he didn't spit that out neither.
Oh, no, that was the full flying mouth guard from a perfect right hook.
Yes, I know. Box. 5 seconds, guys, 5 seconds.
Bartinelli makes it through the first round against Korobov. His mouth guard did not.
The mouth guard was picked up by one of the inspectors from the boxing commission who carried it over to his cornerman. So it was...
Nice to relax. Matt, he's doing nice headshots, right? You got him standing up tall.
Yeah.
Body, okay? Get him up. Here.
Here you see Korobov coming in with a left hand, and then I think he comes right back following that with a right hand. And the biggest problem that his opponent is having, he doesn't know where the punches are coming from. Here we see a tremendous right hand punch come that dislodged the mouthpiece, and it actually flew, I'm looking about probably 30 feet.
That's some right hook.
Before it landed.
Korobov in the first round, 27 out of 58, nearly 50%. Bartinelli, 2 out of 28. Korobov landing 23 out of 31 power shots, and you heard the trainer, John Rahala, saying to him, body. You've done a nice job of setting him up. You've got him standing up straight. You're pounding his head. Now land some body shots. We'll see if he listens.
And you see whenever Korobov starts pulling back, he pulls back out ready to counter with the right hook as he pulls back, but he never pulls too far away.
Bartinelli is way back on the back foot, hoping to limit the damage. He was not nearly that intimidated at the beginning of round 1. So this is the product of the stuff that Korobov has already landed, and there's knockdown number 1.
4, 5.
Korobov shows
6,
he knows where the neutral corner is.
7. Hey, you okay? You want to go?
Oh, yeah.
Go. Go.
Bartinelli gets one last piece of advice from his corner. Comes back for more.
Korobov is doing everything. Body punches, head punches. It's no way that he can hold up much longer. And he's not doing anything wrong himself. He's keeping his hands up. His defense is proper. It's just that Korobov is just too smart. He knows how to find the gaps and getting right in between those punches. The perfect balance and position.
Good patience. Korobov measuring his man, picking his spots very carefully. Good body shot with the right hand by Korobov. Straight left hand right on the money. Martinelli's got a pretty decent chin to have taken the stuff he's taken.
And I can look in the eyes of referee Robert Byrd. He's getting in a position and thinking about seriously stopping this fight. Not from any one punch, just definitely too much of a class differential between the two fighters.
So when the second knockdown comes, it may not occasion a count. This is over. And Byrd stops it right there. Way over.
Great job by the referee.
No reason to take even 5 seconds more risk with the life of Anthony Bartinelli in front of an absolute destroyer like Matvei Korobov.
That was a very impressive performance.
All right, so how's this for a brutal question, Emmanuel? You can train Laura or you can train Korobov. Which one do you want?
I don't know. Don't forget, I have my fighter Andy Lee, who's
got
been
your
off
own
with
one.
cuts,
I know you got your own middleweight
back. So I
prospect.
mean, this is really a good.
Andy Lee's got a lot more experience than these guys.
But this is a great situation. I'm just getting so excited about this middleweight division now. You know,
high glamour.
High glamour.
Here's the knockdown.
And look at the great follow-through and balance all the time that Korobov kept.
So after that, you'll recall that Bartinelli stood up and said, okay, I'll take more. And that's another look at the knockdown itself.
Yeah, if he had a real bad defense or something, I could say, well, it was just one guy was just sloppy. But he did everything proper. The guy was just an exceptionally talented fighter that he just had no defense for because of the intelligence of and the well placement of the punches.
So, Matvei Korobov extends his record to 5-0 with 5 knockouts. And we wait to see where he goes next with his knockout sensation career. Here's Michael Buffer on the Korobov knockouts.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Robert Byrd calls a halt to this bout here at the MGM Grand of Las Vegas. The official time, 2 minutes, 15 seconds, round number 2. The winner by TKO victory and still undefeated, Matt Korobov.
You're better than this guy. I've never seen a profile on him. A lot of camera walking around. Final CompuBox numbers for Matvei Korobov and Anthony Bartinelli, and you can see 57 power punches landed versus 1. Bartinelli tried to get something done with his jab and made a spirited effort, landing, well, 1. No, that was the power punches. But look at that, 79%. I mean, it's hard to land 79% hitting the heavy back, much less finding an opponent. All right, the MGM Grand for the past decade, the home to so many big fights. Still to come, Daniel Jacobs takes on Michael Walker, and longtime veteran Humberto Soto faces Canadian Benoit Godet. Then our main event, Manny Pacquiao against Ricky Hatton. One interesting move in Pacquiao's camp, the addition of Michael Moore to Freddie Roach's wildcard gym. Perhaps more importantly, what will Floyd Mayweather Sr. bring as Ricky Hatton's trainer? It's their second fight together. We'll find out soon enough. Mark your calendars for these upcoming boxing events. May 9, live on HBO. It's the rematch between light heavyweight champion Chad Dawson and the man from whom he took the title, Antonio Tarver. May 30, HBO's Boxing After Dark brings you welterweight titleist Andre Berto against tough Colombian body puncher Juan Urango. Also that night, rising star Alfredo Angulo faces his toughest test in Kermit Cintron. Miguel Cotto on the comeback trail June 13 takes on rugged Joshua Clottey in a heck of a matchup in Madison Square Garden. June 20, heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko in an intriguing matchup against aggressive and outspoken former cruiserweight champ David Haye. July 18, just announced this morning, Floyd Mayweather returns to the ring after nearly a one-year retirement to take on the always tough Juan Manuel Marquez, who has risen in Mayweather's absence to number 2 on the pound-for-pound list. For all that and more, log on to HBO.com. Right now, we bring you live at ringside to talk to a familiar face, and here's the reason for this. In the next fight, you're going to be seeing hot young prospect Daniel Jacobs taking on a chosen opponent from Detroit named Michael Walker, from Chicago, I should say, named Michael Walker. Originally, the intention here was for Walker to be fighting against 154-pound rising star James Kirkland. You may have seen Kirkland and his all-out offensive style in his recent appearances on Boxing After Dark. He annihilated Joel Julio in what was regarded as his toughest matchup so far. Kirkland is trained by one of the best woman fighters in the history of women's boxing, Ann Wolfe. Ann Wolfe is known partially for her extraordinarily difficult conditioning measures with which she's bringing Kirkland along. And she's also known for her own difficult, hard life background and the empathy and compassion she's shown to fighters like James, who come from the same kind of difficult circumstances themselves. We were hoping to see James here tonight in what was supposed to be a big opportunity for him. But 2 weeks ago, he was apprehended by police in Austin, Texas, apparently in possession of a gun, which violated his probation from a previous sentence years ago related to armed robbery. And your own thoughts about what happened to James, the disappointment, and the lessons that he needs to learn.
I was really disappointed in James, but I know that we all make mistakes. And he got a good team behind him. De La Hoya and them, they stood behind him. Me and Pops, we're gonna stand behind him. Because a lot of times when you're down, sometimes you don't know how to stand up.
Do you feel confident that James is going to get the opportunities and the chance to come back and refurbish his professional career in the wake of this?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he needs to learn a lesson. And, if he comes back, we got a test that we need to try to accomplish. That's something we got to do. I think God is going to allow us to do that.
I think you provide the most important guidance, the most significant guidance in James's life right now. Obviously, in a situation like this, you need to mix something like disapproval with the support and encouragement you've given him all along. Tough love, right?
I think he's getting some tough love now. We're going to continue to give it to him, but we got to give him an opportunity like I got the opportunity. I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity, and I'm going to stick beside James because just besides being his coach, I love James.
The opportunity you didn't get, though for years you openly sought it, was your own fight against Laila Ali, the best-known competitor in women's boxing. In the wake of what happened to James, many of us have heard rumors in the last 2 weeks that you may, in fact, get a shot at fighting against Laila Ali. What do you know about that?
I've heard a little bit about it, but I'm a trainer now. I ran after Laila for 3 years, and she never came, so I just say I'm a trainer now. And maybe, you never know. I think Laila need to go ahead and keep dancing with the stars, though.
All right, and will you continue to add fighters to your training stable along with James Kirkland? You're going to continue to train more and more male fighters?
Yeah, that's what my heart is. My heart is really into training. I love training, conditioning, and I'm just looking for the opportunity to get more fighters so I can show people that I really am a good trainer.
One of boxing's most intriguing characters, Ann Wolfe. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished, and best of luck.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Let's turn our attention now to the tail of the tape for the fighters who are in the ring. Daniel Jacobs getting ready to take on Michael Walker. And once again, we're in that middleweight, super middleweight neighborhood where you've already seen Lara and Korobov. Now here comes another hot prospect, Jacobs, 8 years younger than Walker. 5 inches taller, make it 6 inches taller at 6 feet 1. Arm length advantage of 2 inches measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. They both weighed in within 3 pounds of the middleweight limit. Tonight, unofficially entering the ring, they both weigh 169. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Daniel Jacobs-Michael Walker fight is scheduled for 8 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case it is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards if the 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 8th and final round. Jim.
All right, Harold, thank you very much. So Walker prepared to fight James Kirkland, and that was one kind of challenge. Kirkland, a stocky 154-pound southpaw with long arms and a wildly aggressive offensive style. Instead, he winds up fighting Jacobs, who is heavier than Kirkland, a conventional fighter, a guy with much more of a controlled boxing style than Kirkland. So it's really an entirely different thing to which Walker must adjust with less than 2 weeks' notice. Now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
From the MGM Grand, this contest brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions and Top Rank Incorporated in association with MP Promotions and Hatton Promotions. Sponsored by Rockstar Energy Drink. Party like a rock star. Tecate, cerveza con carácter. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees, and smart communications. This contest scheduled for 8 rounds in the middleweight division. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing yellow, officially weighing 162 pounds. Professional record, an excellent one. 19 victories, including 12 knockouts, only 1 defeat, with 2 bouts even. From the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, the drill sergeant himself, the Midnight Stalker, Michael Walker. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black, official weight 163 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 15 fights, 15 victories, including 14 knockouts. From Brooklyn, New York, the undefeated Daniel Jacobs.
Chief, second only. Chief, second only. All right, gentlemen, this fight's scheduled for 8 rounds. You received your instructions in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution, any punches below this point will be called low. Any punches below this point will be called low.
Yes, sir.
With that said, I want you to obey my commands, protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up now. Good luck to both of you.
Daniel Jacobs from Erasmus Hall High School in Brooklyn, New York. Is it fair to say, Emmanuel, that this was a guy who, even during his amateur years, had a professional style, maybe more of a professional style than stood him in the best possible position to succeed as an amateur?
Yes, and also just a lot of natural talent. He had only been boxing 3 months, and he won the National Silver Gloves, which is a tournament for kids between the age of like 10 to 15. 3 months. That meant he had to win the city championship, the regional championship, and the national. So he's always had a lot of natural gift for boxing.
And by the way, his hobby, his beloved hobby, is cooking. And top chef guru Tom Colicchio, I'm told, is lounging at our pre-fight party right now. So maybe Jacobs will get a chance to meet Colicchio before the evening's over, and maybe he can be on Top Chef next year. That's my good idea. Meanwhile, Larry Merchant is back from an exploration of the arena. What'd you find, Larry?
Well, something a little bit unusual. But first, I want to remind us all that Danny Jacobs fought a week ago.
Oh, that's right.
And the fight had to go under 6 rounds in order for him to be qualified or eligible to fight again. And he knocked the guy out with 1 punch in the 3rd round. This is his 16th professional fight in about 18 months. So he's on the fast track, although he hasn't fought up yet. This fight may represent his, for the first time, fighting somebody who is a step up.
Jacobs is somewhat ambidextrous. We've seen him switch southpaw a couple of times early in his career. Has power in both hands, though if pressed, he'll tell you that he thinks his left hook is his best and most dangerous punch. And why not? It's the punch you're least likely to see coming.
So I gather that Korobov did his job.
Sensational.
He's a beast.
He was fantastic.
Landed nearly 70% of his power shots.
And there was a variety of different type power shots on top of that.
How does he do against Lara?
Oh my God!
That was the question I asked. I've already asked Emmanuel which one he would prefer to train, and it wasn't an easy choice. He's already got Andy Lee.
I would go with Korobov between the prospects. I would still like him a little bit better though.
All right, well, and then let's choose this guy because Jacobs is also a middleweight.
Exactly right.
And Larry, that's what we was alluding to, that the middleweight looks so exciting in the next 5-10 years compared to where, you know, after the 70s and 80s, it wasn't too much, which really hurt.
Walker's in trouble. Jacobs got a chance to let his hands go. After one quick left hook, momentarily buzzed Walker. And now Jacobs is unloading the kitchen sink. See if Walker can make it out of round one. He fires a good left hook and backs Jacobs off. But here comes Danny. Now here's what happened 8 days ago. Larry's already told you about Jacobs needing the knockout win over Varela within a 6th round period in order to qualify to come here and fight in this fight. And he actually got it done in round 2 with that straight right hand over the top. Knockout power in both hands, as we told you.
And he was unaware that he had to do that, Jim. They did not tell him that he could appear on this show with a fast knockout because they didn't want to put any additional pressure on him.
Well, as he said in our Vita meeting yesterday, if I need to hit a home run, don't tell me to go up there and try to hit a home run. Leave it in on the QT and let me do it myself. Total in round 1, Jacobs 39 of 107 punches against 6 of 39 for Walker. 25 connects for Jacobs in the last minute. And incidentally, neither Lara's opponent nor Korobov's opponent was in any way an embarrassment. But clearly Walker is the toughest opposition for the 3 prospects who are getting showcased on this card.
Walker has a desire to win. He doesn't get off as fast with his offense, but he has a good defense. The most effective punch that I could see coming from Jacobs was his jab. His jab was penetrating, and his left hook to the body. When Walker was holding his elbows up high, Jacobs was able to penetrate with a left hook to the body. But his jab, but all of the big right hands and things over top at this stage haven't been that effective.
19 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws for Walker. So he's won 19 out of 22 fights and only lost 1. That would be a pretty decent record if he were fighting in Sioux City or Missoula. But he's fighting in Chicago.
He's never, drifted too far from home. This is a whole new world for him. But Jacobs has been fighting here probably about a third of his career has been fought right here in Las Vegas.
Exactly.
In addition to the brilliant amateur background.
Danny's 15-0 with 14 KOs. It's interesting. Walker boxes some of the time within a fairly predictable boxing envelope. Then every once in a while he'll unleash a wild right or left that goes to the rafters.
The one thing that Walker's bringing that I haven't saw most of these so-called opponents tonight, he has a strong desire to win more than most of the guys, even though his skill level is not that high as the experience. But he's a much more determined fighter to try to win a fight than most of the guys.
And here's another thing on Jacobs vis-a-vis the 2 previous middleweight prospects we saw. They are both 26 years old. He is 22.
Good left hand to the body by Jacobs. Focusing on that left to the rib cage. He's landed it 3 straight times. Momentarily switched to a southpaw stance, threw a right jab, and then went back into his conventional lineup.
Right. Go.
Ricky Hatton is making his 5th appearance in this building. Fought the overwhelming majority of his career in Great Britain and made a calculated decision to come to the United States in May of 2007. His first fight here in America was against Luis Collazo in Boston, and he almost lost it. Then he started coming here to fight in Las Vegas and has done very well, with the sole exception of his loss to Floyd Mayweather. Manny Pacquiao, 8 years ago, came to the United States as a heavy underdog in the 122-pound weight class against a South African star named Lejanolo Ledwaba. To our utter amazement, he took Ledwaba apart before our very eyes, and since then has been the most exciting, the most entertaining, the most high-intensity fighter in the featherweight and lightweight areas, moving on up now toward welterweight and junior welterweight. They'll be fighting tonight in the junior welterweight class. They arrived at 6 o'clock and 6:02 Pacific time, in other words, within 2 minutes of each other in this arena. Round 3. Danny Jacobs against Michael Walker. And Walker is going to provide Jacobs with some kind of experience here. Some of the time he's boxing, some of the time he's brawling, some of the time he's holding and grabbing. He landed a wild swinging right hand over the top there.
What Jacobs is trying to do is to let Walker spin up some of his energy, much like he did the first round himself. And Walker saved his energy, so now he was trying to let Walker tire himself out.
Jacobs wobbles Walker with the right hand. Walker firing back. No shortage of courage in Michael Walker.
Yeah. Michael Walker is a hard man.
Remind me of 5 years back, Hard Rock Green. Even physically looks a little bit like it.
Or how about John Brown, the Beast of the East? And he's bigger than Brown, but he's got the same kind of
mind, mental makeup, and physical build.
Exactly. Take no prisoners. Good uppercut by Jacobs as Walker walked in.
Sometimes when a fighter boxes and it seems under such control as Jacobs, you don't really see graphically how tough he may be inside, which I only mention because he comes from the Brownsville section of Brooklyn that produced Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe and other prize fighters. So there's got to be some grit there.
Well, there's a full-scale tackle for Walker. May have thought that he was at the NFL Combine.
And that can have an effect psychologically, too, because at the same time that it happened, you know, he was starting to manhandle him in the clinches, and by throwing him down like that, it psychologically may hurt Jacobs a little bit also, more so than physical.
Give us a second. We got to go right ahead. Some tape?
They're adjusting Jacobs' protective cut, which was moved and dislodged by the tackle.
And he's getting some much-needed rest also.
Here's another look. Vic Drakulich sends them back into combat. Walker comes out with a burst of energy.
Yeah, he got a rest too.
But that rest benefited Jacobs more so than it did Walker.
Walker wanted to touch gloves. Jacobs briefly touched and then fired a three-punch combination. Good body shot with the right hand by Michael Walker. Jacobs is going to get the kind of experience here for instance, Manny Pacquiao got in San Francisco against Agapito Sanchez. What to do against a guy who will do anything.
No more, none of this fight. He can't box you. Make him fight. Deep breath. Deep breath. How you feel, baby? Feel good? Yeah. All right, you in shape, baby. You keep that pressure on him. He's starting to fold. You hear me? Look at his face. He's showing them bad signs, all right? Yeah. One more deep one for me, please. No jabs down the middle, all right? When you cutting them off, step over. Okay. All right, don't follow him around this ring. Make him fight you. Cut him off, Mike. Do not follow him. Make him fight you. Cut him off. Lead hook, lead right hand. Either which way he's going, all right? Another deep one. One more deep one. Let out slow.
Let's go. Go. Check it out. Go.
CompuBox numbers through the third round. Daniel Jacobs, 102 out of 278. That's 37%. Michael Walker has been given credit for landing 26 out of 148 punches. Harold, how do you have it through three?
Okay, Jim. 30-27, 3 rounds to nothing. Danny Jacobs. Jim, I got to tell you, not only is he landing good, clean shots, you see that nice combination, but he gives you angles real well. I mean, beautiful ring generalship. You see, moves to the side, gets out of, well, he didn't get out of the way of Walker's left hook that time, but generally speaking, he really gives him angles. He goes to the left, goes to the right. Very good ring generalship to avoid getting hit by a big, wide Michael Walker shot. 3-0, Danny Jacobs.
But Michael Walker is starting to walk through, and he's being very effective with those brawling punches of his now. And actually, to me, is landing more of the cleaner punches. You know, and Jacobs is throwing a lot of punches, but those wide shots that are coming from Walker are beginning to land more.
So you're saying that Jacobs is being presented with something that he needs to deal with.
He's never had to fight someone like this. Not so much the skill level, that's just determination that Walker brings to him. And that's a threat to anyone.
Yeah, the sheer will to combat.
And that's what makes this main event so exciting.
Because very few fighters fight a full 3 minutes of every round the way Ricky Hatton does.
Ricky Hatton does, and man, and these are high emotional, high energy type fighters, and you know what to expect for them.
Nice combination by Jacobs. Finishes with a body shot. Hits the right side.
Now he seems to be more realizing he's not maybe going to get that knockout or blowout like he thought. So he's now trying to throw punches and get points and move away and looking towards trying to win a decision. And if the knockout happens, it happens.
Agreed.
But not trying to force a knockout like he was in the beginning.
No, he has decided within the last minute that the better part of valor here is to keep it under control and win the fight and not be searching to put this guy down.
And he may get to knockout by doing it that way.
What would have happened if Walker would have wound up fighting Kirkland.
Well, one interesting element would have been that they would have been more or less equal in height. And Jacobs' length is a big advantage for him here against Walker.
You got me? Good job. Go up the road. Take a deep breath. Deep breath. Pull your feet out. Pull your feet out. All right, come on.
Keep jabbing and keep turning. Don't let them around.
Deep breath. Deep breath. Deep breath. Look, pop the jab. Pop the jab.
A little bit.
I got it.
It's only the 4th round.
Pop the jab. The jab is the secret. Pop the jab. Pop, right hand, left foot. Remember, you was always going down.
Here you see a nice, well-placed combination by Walker. 3 shots, all 3 were well-placed and landed, and I think it was after this exchange here that he had more respect, meaning Jacobs, for his opponent, and his whole mindset changed now. Even between rounds, they're talking about this is the fourth round. They're looking towards now trying to possibly win a decision and not trying to force a knockout.
Harold Letterman still has Daniel Jacobs winning every round against Michael Walker.
You know, that's why promising young prospects have these kinds of fights. How are you going to deal with a guy like this? Because someday you're going to fight somebody like him who can punch harder.
And you see the punches coming from Jacobs now. They're more towards just trying to get points and trying to fight intelligently. There's such a big height difference too. And, you know, Jacobs is 6'1", Walker's 5'7". Major difference.
Let me see. You're all right. There's no blood. You all right? Okay, both of you guys, keep the heads up. Heads up. Time in. Box.
One of the fun elements of every big Golden Boy card like this, Golden Boy Promotions, a partner in tonight's promotion. And one of the fun elements is to watch as fighters like Jacobs go about their business in the ring. Bernard Hopkins trying to coach them every second from about 7 rows away.
You know, when I was starting to mention the height difference, I was going to say that because if Jacobs had had a guy that was taller, the longer reach might would have caught it, because a lot of those overhead rights coming for Walker are short simply because he's just a short man.
Yep.
And they're barely missing. But if he was a taller guy, he would be catching with a lot of those long looping shots, I believe.
Well, and what you're saying is that against James Kirkland, who also throws long looping shots and who is about the same height as Michael Walker, Walker might have presented some problems for Kirkland tonight. Because he's so brave, he wouldn't have been intimidated, it seems to me.
Oh, yeah. Champions are made on the inside. It's the mental toughness. That's what makes great fights.
Yeah, but the way Kirkland punches, I don't think that fight would go the distance. Speaking of Kirkland, incidentally, Jacobs told us he knew many people, some in his own family, who had a hard time changing their lifestyle even when presented with good opportunities.
See, a lot of those punches now that Walker started to land those haymakers. If he was a little taller, bigger man, he would have been landing those, I think, earlier. Just he's been so short, such a big height discrepancy. But nevertheless, he's starting to land some of those long punches as Jacob is slowing down and his sense of distance is changing a little bit.
Good hard right hand by Jacobs in that sequence. Walker kept on talking right through the hard right hand.
Yeah, and when Jacobs finished with those punches, he got out right away, where before he was standing there.
Michael Walker has earned the respect of Daniel Jacobs. Jacobs keeps earning round after round on the scorecards, or so it would appear, with superior technique and a far greater number of landed punches. Meanwhile, outside in the concourse, here is the scene, and it has been this way in the MGM Grand Hotel for the past several days. Ricky Hatton's fans start partying whenever it is that they roll out of bed, maybe 9, maybe 10, maybe 11 o'clock in the morning.
Don't let it right out.
And they have lifted Manny Pacquiao's fans to a new level of party activity.
Hatton is a phenomenon. I've spoken to many British writers coming here, and they say there's never been anything like him in terms of this kind of loyal following.
Larry, what do you think of the punch zone graphic? This is a chance for us to see where Jacobs' punches have landed during the fight.
Actually, I kind of like it. Almost like it more than punch stats.
I'll tell you what, it shows you how basically ambidextrous Jacobs is, because he has a more balanced output of landed punches side to side than any of the other fighters we've measured on the card so far. Jacobs lands both lefts and rights and on both sides of the body to a greater degree than was the case for fighters who preceded him on this card, Korobov and Lara, and both of them are pretty good technicians. If you haven't seen Humberto Soto before, he appears in our last preliminary fight, the one remaining preliminary on the card, and Soto is one of the great body punchers in the sport. a joy to watch for his ability to punish the ribcage. Gaudet knows that. We'll see if he has an answer for it.
Jacobs has had quite a week. One fight in which he knocked the guy out with one big punch after a combination. And here he is, working as hard as a fighter can work to earn what looks like will be a decision victory.
He's fighting a very, very, very smart fight now. Boxing, changing directions, never moving in the same direction continually, and mixing up his punches. And as soon as he gets through, he starts right back with the jab right away, trying to create some space.
Jacobs is a new father. His first son was born in December. Like all new fathers, he contends that it has given him a new perspective, greater seriousness, greater dedication to maximizing his professional boxing career. Wants to go to culinary school at one point and improve his cooking skills.
Put on a beautiful display of boxing here. Very, very smart.
This has been a smart round.
Yes, it has been.
Yeah, he's cooking now.
Yep.
Jacobs tackled for the second time.
That's okay.
He's found ways to neutralize Walker's desire to land those big sweeping roundhouse blows, while at the same time still getting in his consistent tactic. Now Walker lands a right hand and chases Jacobs into the corner with a left.
But Walker's still such a short man that with that big height discrepancy right there, he can about 5 or 6 inches. He just lays the body back and rolls the punches off. So Walker still doesn't hurt him that much.
Because he can't get any leverage.
He can't get any leverage because he's too short. But I would say this Jacobs, Jacobs is fighting a very smart fight about boxing a lot. And as soon as he gets through, starts jabbing right away.
Well, you have to like the maturity of the decision to play it safe, ensure the victory, and not be seeking a knockout, which could have given Walker a chance to land
You
something
made that
big.
round be close, Danny. Let him get off. Don't let him get the fuck off. He ain't supposed to. Keep your jab. Keep your pace. That's your range finder. Get your range
How
finder.
about that? Floyd Mayweather's
to the
back.
side, double hook. Hook to the body, hook to the head. Up and down with your jab. Jab him in the chest. Stop him. Shoulder play. Five.
This is he's 32, and this is his only second comeback from a retirement.
All right? You hear me? Yeah. All right, then. Come on. Act like it. You tired? No. Well, then act like it. Let's go then. Fight him for 6 minutes. Fight him.
Well, you heard Carlos Jones asking Michael Walker to fight for 6 more minutes. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 6-0, 60-54. Danny Jacobs. You know, Jim, I'll concede that Michael Walker's the harder puncher. But I got to tell you, if he don't move his hands, he can't win this fight. Danny Jacobs moving, boxing, jabbing. Landing that left jab, landing the combinations. Yeah, 4 or 5 shots right there. And Michael Walker's not moving his hands. If Michael would get off and punch, he'd probably do some damage. But if you judge the fight, you got to say, hey, who's doing more damage in a round? The guy landed all the jabs or the guy landing an occasional solid shot? And in this case, it's certainly Danny Jacobs landing those, clean, effective shots. 6-0, Jacobs.
Those are more than jabs. Harold.
Correct.
I think it's safe to say that Jacobs is not a heavy-handed puncher, although he's faced with a guy here who probably can go the distance with anybody.
It's tough. When he was in the early part of the fight, he was a heavy-handed puncher. I think he made that decision then to quit expending so much energy and his power and just to go for the volume. But he was punching pretty hard in the beginning. But right now, he's just even his jabs are not that hard. But just enough to keep the guy off balance.
I don't know. He doesn't have the legs of a puncher to me.
Switching southpaw for the 3rd time in the fight. Good uppercut straight up the middle by Jacobs. Back to southpaw, back to conventional. Jacobs immediately asks Vic Drakulich to take note of the fact that Walker banged his head against him.
Very intelligent fighter, fully aware of everything that's going on around him. I watch he takes occasionally about 2 or 3 peeks doing around at the clock, the big timer where you can see how much time is left on the round. Very intelligent man in the ring.
Left hook lands for Walker.
Like Joe Frazier throwing a left hook after Muhammad Ali. But not with the power of Joe Frazier.
I started to say.
But not with the power.
Not Joe Frazier's left hook.
Nope.
You got to double him and run the right hand behind him. How you feel? You got 3 minutes in you? You give him 3 minutes of hell, you got to throw more flurries. You ain't just, you 1 and 2 in it. Come on, run some sets, baby. You got hand speed. Do you? Yeah. All right, then let me see some. All right? He pulling back his hands down. You got to run to him. Don't walk to him. Run to him. Go for broke, baby. You hear me? Yeah.
And when you hook to the back, hook to the head, you got to double up on your shot. You got me? Nice and easy. Show him some feint. But don't let his ass trap you or get you on the rope. Only time he get up is if he's holding you and punching. Don't let him hold you. Get your shots up, just step around. Nice and easy. Man, this is basic boxing. You do this shit all day.
Final round.
Touch him up, guys.
CompuBox averages through 7 rounds. Jacobs 27 out of 94 in every round. Walker 10 out of 53.
Let go there, Mike. Let go.
So just on sheer numbers, Jacobs appears to be winning every round.
Watch holding both of you. Watch your heads. Watch your heads. Let go in there, Mike. You guys hands free. Come on. Let go in there, Mike.
Jacobs trains in Coney Island, and it looks like he's not going to be a day at the beach for anyone for some time.
No, this is a rough fight, and I'm more impressed with this fight than all of the other previous fights I saw where he had those blowouts. Because he had to make adjustments in this fight, and he made those adjustments. Very smart, and he's growing from this fight. Instead of having just another easy knockout like usually what he has had in the past with the coverage of his fights.
Well, I think one of the building blocks has been his intelligent use of body punches, most particularly left hook to the body in this fight.
Yeah, he mixes up his attacks very well. And he'll jab, and get your hands up looking for to protect something on. Then he'll shoot a shot underneath.
Walker landed a straight right. Jacobs was landing a left hook at the time. Jacobs feels and senses the need to land a few more headshots and continue to make that good impression with the judges after he got tagged a couple times.
Manuel, a thought occurs to me. You know that new toy we have showing where the body shots are landing?
Yes.
Seems to me that could be used by a trainer as a tool.
Oh, I'd love
to
that.
say, here's where you're throwing your punches. You need to throw more here than there, and so on. And it's so graphic and easy to understand.
I think it's a good idea. I looked at it, I liked it, and it shows, in this particular case with him, it shows the variety of different places where he punches, which is, as Jim said earlier, more so than any boxer that we have tonight used that drafted on. He's hitting on the left, the right, body, head, everywhere. and with left-hand shots as well as right hands, about equally.
So what you've seen was a very intelligent 8 rounds for a 22-year-old fighter in his 16th professional fight. And if the judges agree with Harold Letterman and these 3 voices, then Jacobs will have rolled up a fairly easy decision victory over Michael Walker, who was surely no slouch and gave a spirited account of himself, coming in with a record of 19-1-2. All right, degree of difficulty rises on the right. Those are the punches which Walker absorbed during the fight. On the left, the punches which Jacobs absorbed during the fight. And by the way, Walker's fairly ambidextrous himself, landing 15 body shots with the left hand and 18 body shots with the right hand. But look at the left hook to the body. Down the stretch, Jacobs focused more and more on that punch and ultimately created 38 connects to the right side of Walker's ribcage. And as much as anything, I think that's what stood him in good stead over the last 3 rounds of the fight, Emmanuel.
And that's very unusual to have that many connects at that area from a tall guy who's throwing a lot of jabs, and then he changes up and rips a left hook to the body, and then he goes back to jabbing again. It
shows his natural athletic fluidity.
Yes. And intelligence. Yeah, and intelligence, too.
Michael Buffer's ready with the official decision. Let's hear it.
From the MGM Grand, we go to the scorecards. Adelaide Bird and Herb Santos both scored it 80-72. Dave Moretti, 79-73, all to the winner by unanimous decision. Still undefeated from Brooklyn, New York, Daniel Jacobs.
Everybody, see my hat? Go to yourhealth.com. See how your boy's such a tremendous shape.
Final CompuBox numbers. The old way. Just the numbers, and you can see Jacobs landing just about 30%, 225 out of 767. Walker throwing more than 300 fewer punches and landing 143 fewer punches. Power shots might be just a little bit more even, but even there, Jacobs landing more than twice as many and throwing 120 more, and the 35% connect percentage is very serviceable. 3 fights down, only 1 to go before our main event. Up next, Los Mochis, Mexico's Humberto Soto faces Canadian Benoit Gaudet. And then our main event, Manny Pacquiao against Ricky Hatton. Pacquiao coming off his dismantling of Oscar De La Hoya. Was that an indicator of what's yet to come? Or at 140, is Hatton too big and strong for Manny, as the Manchester native claims will be the case? We'll find out a little less than an hour from now. And now let's take a look at the next HBO pay-per-view event.
We're back.
This isn't an ordinary race.
This year's going to be better than ever.
25 champion drivers.
You can't miss this.
On dirt, bragging rights on the line.
Tony got lucky last year.
This is the prelude.
We're on a new mission.
Help us support military families and injured soldiers.
We are all in this together. The 5th annual
Prelude to the Dream.
New Cause,
Same race.
Wednesday, June 3rd.
Contact your pay-per-view provider to order.
A live look at Ricky Hatton in his dressing room as Manchester, England's favorite native son, prepares for his assignment against Manny Pacquiao. Ricky Hatton with a career record of 45 wins and only 1 loss. Pacquiao, who had a couple of early losses in his career beginning in the Philippines long ago, but in recent years, only a single unanimous decision loss to Eric Morales, which he avenged with 2 knockouts of Morales following that, both of them in this building. Pacquiao's last fight in December, a full-scale annihilation of Oscar De La Hoya, prompting many to believe that it was time for De La Hoya to hang them up. On April 14th, before a live outdoor audience in Los Angeles, Oscar De La Hoya made it official.
Here at the highest level, it's not fair. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to nobody. And I've come to the conclusion that it's over. It's over inside the ring for me.
Well, there he is in his role as promoter and, you know, chief face at Golden Boy Promotions. And that mask is available here in the hotel to anybody. And Oscar having some fun with us as one of the official representatives of Ricky Hatton here. Emmanuel Stewart, if it were not boxing, I might not have to ask this question. But as Jack Nicholson lurks over Oscar De La Hoya's corner back there, I have to ask you, will Oscar stay retired?
I believe it's 50-50. I mean, I think, like a lot of fighters, they come back because they need the fame. He has that. He has the money more than he ever dreamed of. But the fact that he's still so close to boxing, and the fact that his buddies, who are as old as him or older, Shane Mosley and Bernard Hopkins, are performing so well, I think that he still may get that urge. So I would have to say it's about 50-50 to me.
And quickly, Larry Merchant, the bottom line on Oscar De La Hoya.
He was a terrific fighter and champion. There are many champions, some of whom are stars. There are very, very, very few who have become superstars of his magnitude, who almost carried the sport for a decade as its greatest attraction. And I think that because he was so popular, there may be a tendency among some to downgrade him as a fighter because, for example, he's not as good as Sugar Ray Leonard. But I just think he's a terrific fighter.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Now let's go to the tail of the tape from Berto Soto versus Benoit Gaudet. This will take place in the 130-pound weight class where Soto holds the title belt. You see the one-year age advantage for the Mexican fighter. 1-inch height advantage for Gaudet, who is from Quebec in Canada. Arm length advantage, neither man, they're equal from the armpit to the end of the fist. Both weighed in within a pound of the 130-pound limit. Soto goes up all the way to 141 and will have a functional 4-pound weight advantage unofficially entering the ring against Gaudet. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Humberto Soto Benoit Gaudet fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules that you see on your screen. Jim, real quick, the 4 criteria that the judges will use to score each individual round: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense with a strong emphasis on clean, effective punching. Jim!
Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 judges for this bout will be Tom Miller, Jerry Roth, and Paul Smith. Referee in charge of the action, Jay Nady. This contest brought to you by Top Rank Incorporated, along with Golden Boy Promotions in association with MP Promotions and Hatton Promotions. Sponsored by Rockstar. Party like a rock star. Tecate Cerveza con Carácter. And Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees, along with smart communications. This bout scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Super Featherweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with gray, official weight 129 pounds. His professional record, 20 victories, including 7 knockouts with only 1 defeat. From Drummondville, Quebec, Canada, the WBC number 9 ranked fighter in the world in this division, the challenger, Benoit Gaudet. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue with red, officially weighing 130 pounds. His professional record, 47 victories, including 30 knockouts, with 7 defeats and 2 even. From Los Mochis, Mexico, the reigning and defending WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Humberto La Zorrita Soto.
questions. 12 rounds. This is for the World Championship. Good luck, Test Club. Let's go to work.
Soto has shown a commendable ability to bounce back from some of the adversities in his career. A loss to John Guzman, who hasn't been the same since he beat him a couple of years ago. A disqualification that many people thought was uncalled for last year. But he is still one of the best fighters in this weight range around.
I like the way you use that phrase, weight range, because right now anything from 126 all the way up to 135 seems like everyone is just fighting each other back and forth.
Exactly.
If the public wants to see it,
well,
it's a good match.
The way fighters can finesse the weight because of early weigh-ins.
Oh. Down goes Gaudet on a reaching left hook from Soto. He had to extend the punch so far. He probably didn't even have full power behind it, but he shocked Gaudet.
And Gaudet was moving backwards, so I think he was knocked off balance to a degree.
I agree. I don't think he was hurt that much.
That wasn't really Soto's best weapon, which is his vicious left hook to the body.
And Gaudet says that he thinks that he can be a reasonable facsimile of the way Guzman outboxed Soto. That's his goal.
Well, the real test comes when the relatively willowy Gaudet first tastes Soto's body attack. Will he be able to hold up? If he can, Soto doesn't have a plan B and a plan C. He's a plan A fighter, which is to hammer you to the body until you go away. Gaudet using all of the ring in the minute and a half or so since he went down in the corner.
He's putting on a good display of boxing skills outside of the knockdown. He's boxing, he's moving, he's making Soto use his feet by moving and changing directions a lot instead of going straight back all the time. But I just don't know if physically and mentally he's going to be strong enough going down the stretch. Time will tell.
Gaudet knows the odds, understands he's a heavy underdog, despite coming in here with an outstanding record of 20 wins, 1 loss, only 7 KOs, and intelligent guy. He said to us yesterday, I get it. People don't know if I'm going to be strong enough, heavy-fisted enough, have a good enough chin to hang in there against this guy. I'll find out. Good right hand by Gaudet. Sneaking it in. Soto chases him to the ropes.
T'es mis dans le combat solide? Qu'est-ce que je fais pas? Hein? Qu'est-ce que je fais pas? Bon, ben, tu vas pincer avec ta droite ici, t'as vu?
Ya viste que te está manejando ya como nada.
Il faut grand comme ça. On est grand. Okay?
We're all right.
En défensive, on est grand. On n'a pas passé en dessous de ses coups de poing. Hein? On passe en dessous. On va juste pas aller trop loin. Bien sécurisé. On commence à le faire.
Here you see Soto shooting a long right hand, and as Benoit was moving away from it, he got caught with a left hook, which I think was more of a balance position than anything else. And he got up real cool-headed, and I think Soto realized it too, and that's why he didn't get too overly aggressive once he got up. I think he just took his time. He realized it was a knockdown, but it was a lot because of him moving away and being out of position.
Soto thought he might get a shot at Pacquiao after beating Pacquiao's younger brother, Bobby Pacquiao, and hoping to lure Manny into a fight to defend his brother's honor. But that didn't work out, and he's still looking for the big high-profile fight, the big money fight down the road, and this is a stay busy and remind everybody how good he is type fight.
Well, I think the fact that he's what we call still got good height and fairly big for 130 pounder. He could easily move up and fight at 135 if he had to. And so he's still right there in the range, or you say in the neighborhood of the big money fights.
Well, he talks about fighting Marquez, but now Marquez is going to be busy with Mayweather in July, and he himself is still hoping to get the third fight with Pacquiao.
Midway through round 2. There's a small red scratch on the bridge of Humberto Soto's nose. Otherwise unmarked. Gaudet lands a solid right hand and then grabs Soto as he comes in. Emmanuel, I think we can see that Gaudet lacks power. On the other hand, he knows a little bit about how to fight and has a will to try to use the ring and stay in there in such a way as to give Soto trouble.
Very, very swift on his feet and very fast hands, and just enough look like fury that's in him that makes him difficult to fight. And I think Soto, he realizes after the next round or so that he's going to have to step it up. He's going to have to step it, even right, just what he's doing right there. He's going to have to come in and put more pressure on him.
Well, he got closer and landed the left hook, and now the right hand is starting to bother Gaudet as he lands both of those right hands. Not perfectly, solidly, but made contact with both. Now he corners Gaudet, gets him against the ropes, and Gaudet reaches out and pulls him in.
The punching power between the two is very, very, very evident right away. Even though if Benoit lands something, it still doesn't have the power of Soto. And I think Soto realizes that he's going to come in and even maybe get a little careless to some degree, because he realizes that Gaudet can't hurt him.
Good job, very good job, very nice round. But see, but you've got to be first. You've got to be first, because any distance that you give him, he's going to take advantage of. Don't let him do that. When you're in your range, work your waist, work the jab, work your weight, work the hook to the liver, or the right, change it up. But remember your distance that he's giving you so you can work his body. Straight shot, and you can finish up top. Breathe deeply. Work the jab on the inside. Now listen, if you're gonna fight him, let him be forward. When he moves around, you can't chase him. Don't give him his distance. That's where he's gonna work. That's where the only spot where he can work, when you give him distance. Hit him, but use the rhythm.
CompuBox numbers through 2 rounds. Soto 31 out of 111. Gaudet 23 out of 92. Not one-sided, but as Emmanuel Stewart has pointed out, the difference is punching power. Soto's punches make a dent. Gaudet's punches hope to keep Soto occupied. A lot of times, very tough, hard-scrabble Mexican fighters like Soto don't necessarily believe they're in tough unless they're going against another hard-scrabble Mexican guy. But when I asked him yesterday if he saw this as a stay busy fight, he said, hey, when I went to take on Rocky Juarez in Chicago 4 years ago, Juarez had no idea how good I was and who I wanted to be. He said, there are 1,000 guys out there who want to be me. So there's no such thing as a stay busy fight.
That's a good attitude to have, and he's fighting that way too. And he's very serious, and I think he realizes that even though he's a better puncher and more experienced, that Gaudet is not an easy fight to fight. He's going to have to put more and more pressure, because every time that he slows down just a little bit, Gaudet comes back with a punch of his own.
Yeah, and regardless of what Soto may think of Gaudet's more balletic style, he's already had the disappointment of losing to Joan Guzman on a decision in a fight in which he felt like Guzman didn't really want to fight him. He's also suffered his qualification loss last year here on the undercard of Pacquiao David Diaz against a fighter named Francisco Lorenzo. He was DQ'd for hitting Lorenzo when he was down, though television replays seem to show that the punch barely landed, if at all, and did no damage. So Soto has learned to take nothing for granted.
He's fighting a very good fight right now. He's what I call just driving through his man right now. And to do that, you have to be a little careless to some degree, but he's going to have to do what he has to do, because otherwise this could be a very ugly fight going down the stretch.
That has gotten much more aggressive in the last minute.
That's because Soto is putting that pressure, is making him do it. Even though he's landed some punches, I think Soto is thinking exactly as I said, that he can't hurt me, and I'm going to have to take a risk and just drive right through, even at the cost of getting hit.
Gaudet in this round has shown some good, clean, solid right hands, but just as clearly, they don't do damage. Earlier this evening,
Ricky, you fought two elite fighters in your career. Costazu, you stopped. Mayweather stopped you. What does it mean to you to face Manny Pacquiao?
It means everything. When I beat Costazu, I think he was ranked, number 2 at the time in the pound-for-pound rankings, and I was a massive underdog like I am tonight. But I'll go one further tonight if I can beat Manny Pacquiao. He's number 1. I think the good thing is that Manny is quick like Floyd, but he stands and fights a little bit more than Floyd, and hopefully I'm going to draw him into a fight.
Do you think you can muscle and maul him the way you did Costazu?
I like to think so. Needless to say, the early rounds will be the trickiest, if you like. But I feel I've got decent and underestimated speed myself, so I want to use that early on. But I expect at 12 rounds at some point to catch up with him.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
So what I was supposed to say is earlier this evening, Larry Merchant had a chance to sit down and talk with Ricky Hatton. That was my fault. Not really clear on my signals there, but you viewers, you figured it out. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 3 rounds to nothing. 30-26, Humberto Soto. Jim, Benoit Gaudet has got good skills. There's no doubt about it. He moves nice, he jabs nice, throws some combinations, but there's nothing behind the punch. I mean, Humberto Soto, when he hits you, he goes flat-footed, and he really puts some wallop behind it. That's why Gaudet is all red the way he is. And you know, Soto's been walking him down, landed good, clean, hard shots, and the minute Soto lands a hard shot, Gaudet starts to run. He just absolutely takes off the minute he gets hit. I think Soto's doing a lot more damage. You got to give him an extra point for the knockdown in round 1. 3-0, Soto.
Good body combination by Gaudet. Then he got caught by a left hook. Seemed momentarily discombobulated. Got away as Soto tried to come after him and do more damage.
No. Stop.
Arena is getting very close to being full. As the main event hour closes in. Another good solid right hand by Gaudet. Another punch for Soto to walk right through. Keeping the pressure on. Good right hand by Gaudet. He's pretty quick and accurate with that right cross, Emmanuel.
Yeah, and especially when you're so concerned with offense that you don't look for nothing back. It's easy to get caught. That was a great right hand right there. what Soto is doing, he just slowly draining him physically and mentally.
We've got a big treat coming for you between rounds. Manny Pacquiao, the pride of the Philippines, has an amazing and devoted following. But no fighter in boxing today has a following quite like that of Ricky Hatton. Not only does Hatton fly to the fight or bring to the fight thousands of fans who don't even have tickets, who are simply here to be a part of the experience, but he also has his own marching band. Right, Larry?
You can see that I'm surrounded by sound here. Tell me, fellas, is there really only one Ricky Hatton?
There is only one Ricky Hatton. He's the king of the ring and he's from Manchester. There's only one Ricky Hatton.
Even if he changes his style as a fighter, there's still only one Ricky Hatton?
There's just the one Ricky Hatton.
How many times a day do you play that song?
More times than we don't play the song. We play it all the time. But everybody loves it, Larry, don't they?
Well, what do you think it achieves? How do you get here?
Hey, we get here by playing, and it achieves a great atmosphere and a positive atmosphere. And it's everything that's English. That's a laugh, fun, and a carnival.
Why does Ricky Hatton inspire this kind of virtually unprecedented loyalty of thousands of his fans coming this far for a fight?
I think it's because everybody that comes can identify with him. He's a regular guy, he's feet are on the ground, he's just like every one of us, and we love that. With Ricky, you get what you see. He's a true Englishman, he's a gentleman, he's got a heart of gold.
Thank you, fellas. Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Larry. Meanwhile, down here in the live fight between Humberto Soto and Benoit Gaudet, you may have noticed while Larry was talking to the marching band members that a graphic showed you that Harold Letterman gave the last round to Gaudet. CompuBox numbers found Gaudet landing 18 out of 64 punches and actually holding a 16-9 edge over Soto in power shots in that round.
Well, I'm not surprised because he's landing a lot of. He's got fast hands. You know, that's what I guess he compensates for the lack of power. Much faster hands, but it's just the case, as I said, Soto's going to have to go in and be very aggressive with the guys. He'll not give him any space. For whatever reason, Soto is backing back himself down as if he may be in some discomfort.
I think Soto's confused, and I think he's finding it difficult to land, most particularly his pet weapon, his left hook to the body against Gaudet, and he wants to step back and try to get a look and refigure exactly what is the best way to attack the elusive French-Canadian fighter.
And that's a good word, elusive. He's not used to fighting someone as fluid as this guy is, moving, changing directions, and then when he least expects, he throws punches.
And right now, as we go into the 5th of a scheduled 12, I have to say that it looks like Soto is the one who is slowing down and is moderately confused, and Gaudet, though still unable to do any damage against Soto, is sure of himself and what he's doing in there right now.
I don't know what happened, but somewhere in the early part of this round, something happened to Soto. And I looked at his face. He's not that comfortable or confident. I don't know whether it's an injury or whatever, but something happened somewhere.
He's also got a mouse under his left eye. And what seems to be emerging is the possibility of a huge opportunity for Benoit Gaudet.
Well, Gaudet is having another good round in this round.
Takes the right hand
after being
from Soto.
staggered in the early part of the round.
Hard right hand by Soto. That punch may alter the psychological circumstances once again. Back in his favor. He still doesn't exactly come to try to bring a lot behind it. And what's really missing is that sustained body attack, which has fortified him through much of his career. He seems to be headhunting. It may work if he lands more shots like that, or like that. Quick left hook by Gaudet. Soto landed some heavy leather down the stretch, but there are unusual things going on in the ring compared to what we saw in the first 2 or 3 rounds of the fight.
You ready? Whenever you want to go. Whenever you want to go. You need to go get him. Fake him with rhythm and attack him all out. How do you feel? Good? Breathe.
Come on, we have to fight. We have to fight. Forget about the public.
Les jambes sont-tu là? Physiquement, tu te sens bien? À chaque fois qu'il sort des coups de poing, tu le touches. Je pense que t'as pas confiance. Confiance en tes mains, là. Confiance. Ce sont belles tes mains, Ben. À chaque fois qu'il sort des coups de poing, tu le touches. Jab au corps est encore bon, Ben. Le jab au corps est encore bon, ça nous garde plus bas. All right, ça nous garde plus bas. Ben, tu ramasses le banc, Pierrot.
So we go to round 6 of a scheduled 12. Humberto Soto against Benoit Gaudet. And it's Soto in the blue and white trunks who seems to have the lead on the scorecards, though not the kind of physical dominance in the fight that we might have expected. Power shots through the 5th round. Soto 55 of 142. Gaudet 44 of 120. Humberto Soto's are the harder shots. And that's what Harold Letterman focused on in scoring the first 3 rounds.
But the last round was a very interesting round. They both had good exchanges, and Benoit Gaudet seems to have more confidence now. Seems to have settled into the fight and seems to be a lot more comfortable. And himself is becoming aggressive. And it has Soto doing more of a boxing style now, which is very difficult for what it was the first few rounds.
Well, he's thinking there's only one Benoit Gaudet.
I'm sure there are a lot of French-Canadian fans who feel exactly the same way. How was your excursion to the Hatton Band, Larry?
Well, it was interesting being up there in the nosebleeds with the Hatton Symphony. Seemed like regular blokes.
Oh, they are that.
They're from Sheffield, actually. And I asked them, well, why didn't they show up for Prince Nassim?
Your buddy.
Yeah. And they said, we were never asked.
Nas wasn't a marching band kind of a guy.
But they also perform at soccer games. And of course, it has been speculated that one reason that Hatton is so popular is that for fans of Man City, the second team in Manchester behind the famous Manchester Yankee of soccer organization, they rarely win, and Hatton has given them something to cheer for.
Ernie Shavers, the heavyweight of the Muhammad Ali, he also lives in Sheffield too.
Did he?
Yeah, he does. He lives over there. But he's very, very popular over there, and he does a lot of guest speaking and things. Very, very popular citizen over there in Sheffield.
Well, you saw Larry's conversation with Ricky Hatton earlier this evening. He also visited Manny Pacquiao.
Manny, since your famous victory over Oscar De La Hoya, the fight world has come around to thinking, well, Oscar was old and not as good as he had once been. Do you still have to prove you can beat a stronger man, a naturally bigger man?
That's what I'm trying to do. Maintain the, to give a good show to the fight, and I'm not comparing my ability to the other fighter.
With everything that goes on around you, back home especially, when you're in the ring, is that where you still feel the best?
Well, when I'm in the ring, I'm inspired to focus the fight and to continue the fight and to win the fight, because millions of Filipino are praying for me.
Tell us what's going to happen tonight.
It's hard to see something if the fight is not happening yet, but I will do my best. I'm not gonna promise to predict the fight, but I do my best to give a good fight and to give a good show to the people who are watching tonight.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
And we're back live as Benoit Gaudet continues to try to befuddle Humberto Soto, the harder hitter. And Soto stalks and chases in round 7. Soto looking to reassert the physical dominance that led to a knockdown in the first 35 or 40 seconds of the fight. Since that time, Gaudet has presented a more and more intriguing puzzle for Soto to try to solve.
And Gaudet has gotten a little bolder, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He seems to have gotten a little bit comfortable with the entire situation, and he's become a much more competitive fighter now. And he's taking some great shots.
There was a sequence while you were headed upstairs, Larry, when Gaudet landed 2 or 3 flush right hands in a row, and seemed to have found something that might, help him to put Soto more and more on the defensive. But at the end of the day, the punching power difference remains the functional difference in the fight.
You think that sometimes in one of these so-called stay busy fights that a champion just doesn't prepare as well, doesn't have the focus and can get a little bit lax, Emmanuel?
Yes, but in this case, I don't think that. I just think that this Benoit Gaudet is just putting on a tremendous fight now. He's been at and he's landing punches now. He's becoming aggressive.
I'm pretty sure it was a fully accidental low blow, but it's yet another moment that tips the scales a little bit more in Gaudet's favor.
Yeah.
It's the first time. Jay Nady's not going to penalize him. He's warning him, but there'll be no penalty.
Yeah, Jay was very nice. He said, I know it was accidental, not intentional. You just watch your punches from here on in. So that was very good. Whereas some referees may have just taken a point away off the bat.
And this is a moment you've seen thousands of times. Remember, Soto has 5 full minutes if he wants to use them. I don't know that I've ever seen a fighter use more than a minute or 2.
If he needs more than a minute or 2, he's got a problem.
Soto now landing his chopping left hook upstairs. I don't know whether he's abandoned the body attack because it doesn't work or because he thinks he's going to knock Gaudet out with head punches. But it seems to me that Humberto Soto has gone away from his bread and butter.
Yeah, and I don't know. Gaudet just seems to have gotten comfortable with it and is taking those punches and landing it back. And it just seems like his chin or whatever has gotten better. Either his nerves have gotten better. But the difference, I think, is more with Gaudet now, more so than Soto.
Well, Gaudet's only loss was a knockout by Henry Arjona, a Canadian opponent, in the first 48 seconds. And remember, he went down in the first 35 or 40 seconds here against Soto. I wonder if he's one of those guys, Emmanuel. And we've seen plenty. Joe Calzaghe comes to mind. So does Felix Trinidad. They have trouble getting their legs under them in the first round or 2, and then from that point forward, they're fine.
You're right. That could have been the case with them.
He came back in his next fight and beat that opponent.
Yes.
You work up top, finish up at the body, finish up at the liver, the hook to the liver. Work him. If you want to fight, fight. But try it there. You know how to do it. Work the uppercuts on the inside where you're closed. Uppercuts on the inside. You're not going to rip off his head. Yeah. Work the body, work the sides.
Ça veut pas dire d'y aller en malade. Mais croire en toi, mort dans ton mouthpiece, plante tes pieds, ramène tes mains.
This is what I call a perfect example of a low blow that was not intentional. His head was pulled down, so the punches that was intended to be in the body area was pushed down and it was lower. And I think the referee made a good call on that by just letting him have a risk and not taking a point away.
Sure, it's abundantly clear that Gaudet is not by nature or attitude a dirty fighter. He got pulled into a low blow situation.
Which happens often. The guys, their heads are pulled down as they're punching, and they accidentally land a low blow.
What we've seen, I didn't know that Gaudet had enough power to even hurt an opponent with a low blow.
Well, I think in the case of a lot of received low blows. If you're not acting, you're not trying. Hard right hand over the top by Soto. Gaudet comes back with a left and a right. Two body shots by Gaudet. And you heard Soto's trainer asking him between rounds to go to the body, quit trying to knock Gaudet out with one big shot. But still, it is the French-Canadian fighter who has focused more to the ribcage than has the guy I regard as a superior body puncher, Humberto Soto.
I'm just totally amazed more at Benoit Gaudet than really even Soto now. He's just sitting there, and even when he's getting hit with the punches, he's taking them and not even flinching.
Got hit right on the button with a right hand there.
Yeah, but I don't know. Soto's still a much more powerful puncher, but he's trading punches with him, which at a certain point I think he should get back to boxing it a little bit and mixing it up a little more. But he's actually becoming more of a slugger himself now even.
Well, he may lose the fight, but he's going to make a fan or two.
And whatever his rating is, it should go up, if anything. If he was rated number 9 from this performance where he loses, it should go up to about number 4, number 3 or something. He should definitely not be dropped or penalized.
If this fight was supposed to, among other things, showcase Soto,
that ain't happening.
A bigger fight, it ain't happening.
That ain't happening. If it was supposed to excite the crowd, that ain't happening. What it's doing is creating a reputation for a fighter we have not previously seen and hadn't heard about before this, and his name is Benoit Gaudet. 20 wins, 1 loss from Quebec. Now, at the beginning of the night, we told you the giant piece of boxing news from today. Floyd Mayweather announcing his return to boxing after retirement of less than 1 year. He signed to fight that man, Juan Manuel Marquez, on July 18th, this summer. Here's what Floyd had to say.
I know when it comes to fight time, I'm going to be ready mentally as well as physically. I'm always ready mentally, and that's the main thing. And so, I can take my hat off. He's a good small man, but I'm a great big man. There's a difference.
Face to face.
And as the two fighters stood together, you get a sense of part of the challenge that faces Marquez, about a 2-inch height advantage, maybe 1.5 to 2 inches for Mayweather. He has fought and won at 147 pounds. Marquez has never been north of 135, where he won his last fight in a sensational showing against Juan Diaz. The fight will take place at a catch weight somewhere between 100 and 147 pounds. And for Marquez, a lot of people are saying, Larry, it's a no-lose.
Well, he's going to make a pile of money, the most money he's ever made. And at the end of the day or the end of the night, that's what prize fighting is about. But I also want to congratulate Floyd Mayweather Jr. on the perspicacity of how he chooses his opponents. Those he chooses and those he chooses not to choose. He's always been as smart or smarter outside the ring than he is even inside the ring.
Is that what perspicacity means?
I think it does, yes, Jim. I mean, the only time he ever showed any interest in fighting Mosley was when everybody thought Mosley was a shot fighter. Now he's not that interested in it. And of course, he didn't want to fight Margarito, and there was a negotiation with other fighters that didn't turn out, like Winky Wright. He's an excellent fighter, a real good fighter, but he's real smart on knowing who and who not to fight.
Marquez currently ranks number 2 on the pound-for-pound list as we continue to watch Benoit Gaudet and Humberto Soto fight in the same fight they fought basically through the last several rounds, midway through round 9. If If Floyd Mayweather, Larry, manages to get past Juan Manuel Marquez, will the public likely clamor for him to fight the winner of Manny Pacquiao versus Ricky Hatton?
If it's Hatton.
Uppercut.
I'm sorry.
Plants
if it's
Gaudet.
Pacquiao.
If it's Pacquiao. Uppercut plants Gaudet, second knockdown of the fight. That stops the momentum that the French-Canadian fighter had built.
That's a serious knockdown. First uppercut he's thrown, he didn't see it. He was bending down, looking for a punch over top, and never saw the shot.
And give him credit for adapting and saying, okay, nothing else is working as well as I want to. Let me try the uppercut.
And it worked.
Experience, very smart. And he's trying that again. He's trying to bring shots up through the middle, up again. Because
hard right hand tags Gaudet. Another hard right hand. And as he falls to the ground, Jay Nady stops the fight. So just that suddenly, Humberto Soto has the knockout victory.
At the end of the night, class told, and Soto imposed himself on a courageous but outgunned opponent.
Before Gaudet won some fans and some hearts with a spirited showing, but the absence of punching power manifests throughout the fight. And at the end, Soto's harder stuff makes the difference. Here's the first knockdown. Good uppercut, Emmanuel.
great uppercut. Perfect punch. First uppercut I think he's thrown all night. Right on the chin. The punch that hurts is the punch you don't see. And that's what
I started to say, against the guy who was leaning in and never saw it coming.
Never saw it coming.
And then the follow-up. Jab lands. This right cross. Dangerous. Allowing more of that. Dangerous. Good stoppage by Jay Nady.
Yeah, the Jay Nady did a great job tonight, all the way throughout the entire fight.
And one reason for this happening was that Gaudet was getting bolder and thought he might have a chance. And so he was in range to be hit.
That's right. He wasn't fighting to survive. He put himself in harm's way and paid the price. Michael Buffer with the particulars on the knockout.
From the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, referee Jay Nady steps in and calls a halt to the contest. The official time, 2 minutes, 25 seconds of round number 9. The winner by TKO victory, still WBC Super Featherweight Champion of the World, the crafty little fox, Humberto La Zorrita Soto.
Final CompuBox numbers for Humberto Soto against Benoit Gaudet. And you see Soto landing 48 more, throwing fewer. All credit to Gaudet for the spirited showing that he put up in the middle of the fight. Ultimately, the harder puncher, the more dangerous, more aggressive offensive fighter, getting it done, though focusing his attack uncharacteristically upstairs and not showing us the brilliant body stuff that in the past has typically defined what Humberto Soto does. Power shots, and you'll see that Soto landed 22 more while throwing 5 fewer. 40% connect percentage, very good, and once again, big difference in the relative impact of the punches. All right, so we made it through the entire undercard with some very entertaining moments to set us up for what's coming next. What a day it's been in Las Vegas. It began with Floyd Mayweather announcing this morning that he's returning to the sport, taking on July 18, the number 2 man on the pound-for-pound rankings lists right now, Juan Manuel Marquez, a guy who's been fighting at 130 and 35 pounds and will now have to come up to face Mayweather. Mayweather said, "I'm still the best. I'm coming back to prove I'm number 1 pound for pound." In his absence, Manny Pacquiao has taken the sport by storm. His annihilation of Oscar De La Hoya solidified for everybody his number 1 pound for pound ranking. And if Ricky Hatton were to upset Manny Pacquiao tonight, one of the first things his followers would say is he's number 1 pound for pound. Let's get ready for the main event.
You know, I'm the best junior welterweight in the world. He's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
It will be a historic fight because Ricky Hatton like to keep on punching and fighting toe-to-toe. I want that.
Manny Pacquiao has no equal in the ring. Driven by a fury first fueled in the poverty of an archipelago a world away. Fury that has stoked an unprecedented ascent up the scale. One of the most vicious finishers in the sport. Highlighted by the annihilation that retired the world's best-known fighter. Manny Pacquiao has beaten Oscar De La Hoya. But Ricky Hatton has yet to cede ground to anyone at 140 pounds. A blue-collar brawler who relentlessly stalks his prey. An English hero still haunted by the one punishing imperfection on his resume. Floyd Mayweather has a knockout victory over Ricky Hatton. Faced with a self-reckoning, Hatton turned to the unlikeliest of characters to help him retool. The father of his conqueror, a defensive mastermind, outspoken and without a trace of self-doubt.
I know he's a better fighter than Pac-Man, and I'm definitely a much greater trainer than apprentice of Joe Coach Roach.
The partnership they'll oppose spans nearly a decade. A ring educator of the most elemental kind. And the one-time, one-dimensional pupil, he's now armed with a full mastery of the sweet science.
He has power in both hands. He knows how to box. He's a complete fighter now.
Two fighters from opposite sides of the world, with polar opposites in each corner, fighting for a spot at the summit of their sport. Manny Pacquiao, Ricky Hatton. The most anticipated fight of 2009 is next. So it's finally time for our main event. Manny Pacquiao against Ricky Hatton. Pacquiao's speed, agility, and apparent ability to move up and down among weight levels with ease against the rough and tumble, face-first fighting style of Hatton. Will Hatton have enough greater strength and size to knock out or outpoint Pacquiao? We are about to find out. Pacquiao versus Hatton is being brought to you by MGM Grand, the city of entertainment in Las Vegas. Rockstar Energy Drink. Party like a rock star. And by HBO Pay-Per-View, the best in pay-per-view entertainment, brought to you by HBO. One popular journal stated, it won't be a celebrity-studded crowd. Oh, really? Well, how about Jack Nicholson? The star of Entourage, Jeremy Piven. Denzel Washington in his New York Yankee cap. Cedric the Entertainer. Nearby Cedric, Mariah Carey with her group, including husband Nick Cannon, P. Diddy at ringside tonight, and also Jay-Z. So the music world and the movie world well represented here. Now quickly, let's take a look at the 140-pound weight class where Ricky Hatton is the linear champion and Manny Pacquiao is about to appear for the first time. The top line of the graphic reflects the organizational nonsense of governing bodies and belts. The best known of the belt-holding fighters, Timothy Bradley, one governing body stripped him a couple of weeks ago. The other two fighters, Kotelnik and Urango, still have belts. Bradley has one too. But the really good fighters, the best fighters in the picture, are Ricky Hatton, who's still the linear champion of the 140-pound weight class, Manny Pacquiao, who can become the linear champion by winning the fight, Floyd Mayweather, who is a potential targeted opponent for both of them, and against whom a fight would probably have to take place at a catch weight somewhere between 140 and 147. Juan Manuel Marquez, who's never fought against above 135, but it was now accepted an assignment to fight Mayweather somewhere above 140 later this summer, and if he wins that fight, could conceivably fight in the future in this weight division. Larry Merchant, as you've often said, there are some big questions to be answered and some answers to be questioned. What are the biggest?
Jim, first, can Manny Pacquiao live up to the flattery that he's this generation's Henry Armstrong, a greatest among greatest? can Ricky Hatton find a way to neutralize Pacquiao's lightning left hand to make a fight of it that can live up to this raucous party? And is this fight between champions from island nations at the end of great oceans coming to fight in America mean that boxing in the U.S. now is officially a global affair? In an hour, we'll have some answers and then some more questions, Jim.
What a crowd, huh? What an amazing audience as these two fighters get ready to fight before their rabid followings. Emmanuel, before I talk to you about the fight, has any fighter in the sport ever had a following quite like Ricky Hatton's?
No, there's never been a fighter that I know of probably the way that Ricky, he's an everyday guy. I fell in love when I was on a speaker tour about 3 years ago, and he came over and took over the tour with me. So I just love him. He's an everyday guy, you relate to him, and he gives his best, and regardless of what happens, he never complains.
All right. The fight has been cast by most experts as a battle between Pacquiao's speed, fluidity, and skill, and Hatton's greater size and strength. Is there more to it than that?
Well, I think it is a little bit more to it, but the size and strength does mean a lot. The fact that Ricky Hatton has been fighting at 140 pounds since the first day that he fought, which I think was about 12 years ago when he started off his career, and he's been at that level. Even though Pacquiao was fighting at 106 when he started, he was a young kid growing up. But Ricky is used to fighting stronger guys, bigger guys, and natural strength. I think he still is about a 5-pound bigger person. But the power of Pacquiao may neutralize all of that. I think the biggest thing that's been underestimated is Ricky Hatton's speed. I think he has speed himself. Unfortunately, his greatest signature fight he lost, and that was to Mayweather. In the greatest signature fight Pacquiao had, he looked sensational beating Oscar De La Hoya. And I think if we would balance out other things, the fact that Oscar was smaller comparatively, not as healthy, and that the gifted talent of Mayweather plus the physical size really neutralized. So I think it's about a toss-up to me.
Several times in recent years, we've told you these two styles conspire in such a way that there's almost no chance this won't be a great fight. There's almost no chance this won't be a great fight. Let's go to Michael Buffer now for pre-fight pageantry.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would everyone please rise for 3 national anthems. First, here to sing the national anthem of the Philippines, please welcome Martin Nievera.
Bayang magiliw, belas ng silangan, alaw ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Upang hinirang, tuyang ka ng magiling, sa manlulubig, di ka pasisiin. Sa lagat at bundok, sa simoyan, sa langit mong bughaw, may dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan mamay di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay ay lapit sa piling mo. At di kaya na pag may mang-aapi ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here to sing God Save the Queen, Sir Tom Jones.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save our Queen. Send her victorious
ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Gentlemen, remove your caps. Here to sing the national anthem of the United States of America. Please welcome Jasmine Villegas.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Jim?
Tail of the tape for Manny Pacquiao versus Ricky Hatton. You can see that they are even numerically in age. Hatton just a little bit older than Pacquiao. A 1-inch height advantage to the Filipino fighter, who is regarded by many as the smaller man. Arm length advantage also to Pacquiao by 1 inch, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Hatton weighed in right on the 140-pound weight limit, so familiar to him throughout his entire career. Pacquiao was 2 pounds under at 138 tonight unofficially. Pacquiao goes up 10 pounds to 148. Hatton goes up 12 pounds to 152 unofficially. A 4-round weight advantage in the ring for Ricky Hatton. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Manny Pacquiao-Ricky Hatton fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3-knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case it is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards if the 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim!
Yeah, Jim, something unusual. Ricky Hatton, the longtime junior welterweight champion, still the linear champion, entitled to walk out second, which has always been considered a psychological sign of status, elected to come out first. And when I asked him about it just a little while ago, he said, Manny Pacquiao is pound for pound the best in the world. That's what I'm fighting for, and I consider myself the challenger for that title. Never heard anything like that.
Yeah, even though he holds officially the world title. That's a lot of humbleness on his part.
Well, it also goes to show you that Ricky Hatton is a brilliant marketer who understands how to cast the stakes here in the highest possible region and how to make the fight seem the most important it can possibly seem. Ricky Hatton knows how to attract fans. That's 100% clear. And incidentally, there was almost an outburst during the national anthem when his picture appeared on the big monitor in the arena. And here he comes.
never seen a salad. That's why he's fat. He's never been on a diet.
Aren't we accustomed to hearing Blue Moon at this point? And the frequent tribute to Hatton's father's background with the Manchester City soccer team? This entrance has been changed up.
Another change-up.
Tonight is here for you.
And his fans don't seem to know exactly how to react. They're waiting for Blue Moon. In his last performance here against Paulie Malignaggi, he says that he showed the improved boxing skills provided by trainer Floyd Mayweather.
And said that he returned to the scene of the crime when he lost to Mayweather to get rid of the evidence.
One question surrounding tonight's bout. Will he actually try to box, or will he throw himself at Pacquiao and try to establish physical advantages early? And now here comes Blue Moon. Hatton's crowd relatively reserved tonight, seemingly thrown off a little bit by him entering first and the absence of Blue Moon, except as a bit of an encore. And now the Filipino crowd gets ready for Manny Pacquiao, who shows the happiness that always seems to envelop him. Amid his chaotic life, Emmanuel, he never seems anything other than totally joyful at being Manny Pacquiao.
He loves people. He loves boxing, fighting, the excitement that goes with it, the adulation, the crowd. He was born to be a prize fighter.
Neither one of these fighters walks to the ring like they think it's the last mile. No matter how many times they do it, it's like the first mile. Among other things, they're going to each make a minimum of $12 million, which should put a smile on anyone's face.
Coming to the ring from the Philippines, the Pac-Man.
Just over Pacquiao's right shoulder, Michael Moore, one-time heavyweight champion of the world, and now the apparently anointed inheritor somewhere down the road to Freddie Roach's training operation.
Yeah, and he's done a great job. Seem to have a good chemistry between the three of them.
And there's Freddie from behind, making himself almost inconspicuous somewhere in the Pacquiao entourage. So much of the build-up to the fight has centered on the two trainers. For his part, Roach was visibly relieved after the weigh-in yesterday, saying, okay, from now on it's about the fighters. Thank heaven for that.
Well, we have two non-American fighters, two American trainers, three American judges. The trainers have been the subplot, and they've made it even bigger than anybody anticipated.
One big credit hanging over the fight for Pacquiao. How much credit truly does he deserve for his conquest of De La Hoya? Did it prove that he could beat a quality bigger man? Or did it prove only that he could batter the shell of what once was De La Hoya? Let's go to Michael Buffer now for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated and Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, in association with MP Promotions and Hatton Promotions, are proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBO and Ring Magazine Light Welterweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Rockstar. Party like a rock star. Tecate, cerveza con carácter. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees, and smart communications. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Bill Brady, Executive Director Keith Kaiser, IBO President Ed Levine. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this bout, Michael Pernick, C.J. Ross, and Glenn Trowbridge. And inside the ring, your referee in charge of the action at the bell, Kenny Bayless. And now, with their places secured in the Hall of Fame, only one can become victorious tonight. So from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner with his head trainer, Floyd Mayweather Sr., wearing black with white and silver. Official weight, 140 pounds. Professional record, 46 fights. 45 victories, including 32 knockouts, with only 1 defeat. From Manchester, England, the 3-time world champion and reigning, defending IBO Ring Magazine light welterweight champion of the world, Ricky Hitman Hatton. Let's go. And fighting out of the red corner with head trainer Freddie Roach, wearing white with blue, officially weighing 138 pounds. Professional record, 53 fights, 48 victories, including 36 knockouts, 3 defeats and 2 draws. From Sarangani Province, Philippines, the 5-time world champion, currently recognized as pound for pound, the best fighter in the world, Manny Pacquiao.
Okay, gentlemen, trunks are okay here. Trunks are okay here. Now, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to caution you to keep the fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck. Touch up. All right.
They are warrior kings with armies of fans who follow them to the battle. Now they will be alone in the battle.
After a long publicity tour and a lot of exposure to each other, they are genuinely friendly. They like each other. It should not show up in the fight.
No.
Question 1, is round 1 a boxing match, or does Hatton want to fight right away?
No, what Ricky is doing is what the keys of victory, which we didn't have a chance to show to the audience, was for him to create anxiety and pressure on Manny, unlike anybody else has ever did before. But you have to watch Manny, because Manny is still the better puncher between the two, so he still must be a little careful.
So Hatton wants to apply pressure, but with care,
yes,
against Pacquiao's faster hands.
Yes. And I think he's doing just that.
Hard right hand by Pacquiao. trying to hit Hatton as he comes in. Key element of the game plan for Pacquiao, allow Hatton to come forward, catch him on the way in. A key element of the game plan for Hatton, get Pacquiao against the ropes, just like that.
Pacquiao has been more successful with the right than the left. That punch missed. There's the right again landing.
Quick right hooks are landing for Pacquiao. The left hand is overshooting the target.
This fight is living up to the anxiety that the fans expected and the intensity. It's going to be an important factor to see how Kenny Bayless handles this fight, because it could be exciting and it could end up being a very wrestling type match also.
Great right hand for Hatton, glazed across the face of Pacquiao.
Hatton's face is already red.
I thought Pacquiao landed the right hook.
Work out.
I think Pacquiao's landed 3 significant right hooks already in the fight, Emmanuel. It's definitely been his best punch early. A straight jab lands for Pacquiao.
Which again shows that he's no longer a one-punch puncher.
No, follows the jab with a hook, comes back with another jab. There's the straight left hand, and he landed it right on Hatton's chin. And down goes Hatton after he swings and misses with a left hook. And that's a knockdown for Manny Pacquiao. Perfect right hand inside.
I don't know if Ricky's going to survive. I'm surprised to see him get hurt for shoulder. But he's not the type of a guy that goes out to survive. He's a fighter.
Hatton got a couple of extra seconds as Bayless tried to back Pacquiao off. Pacquiao was coming out of the neutral corner in a hurry. Lands another right hook.
Pacquiao's hands are so...
Pacquiao's hands are blindingly fast.
His hands are so fast that no opponent sees the punches coming.
Very accurate.
Another perfect right hand for Pacquiao. Another right hook. Straight left hand. Pacquiao's landing at will. Hard left hand. Hatton has to hold on. Will Hatton make it out of the round? He's down for the second time. This is the brilliance of the Filipino slugger. A tsunami for Manny Pacquiao in round 1. Here's the first knockdown, Emmanuel.
Right hook as he was coming in. He never saw it. And what's amazing, to see him land a punch and then slip a punch all at the same time shows unbelievable coordination.
The issue has always been
timing.
Whether Hatton could get to Pacquiao and avoid these kinds of clean punches.
CompuBox numbers in round 1, utterly devastating to Pacquiao's chances. Pacquiao is 35 out of 62, 31 out of 52 power shots. Hatton only 8 out of 33. It was a Pacquiao storm in the first round.
And we have to remember now, although it's a different type of fight, that Pacquiao knocked Marquez down 3 times in the first round.
And then Marquez, a counterpuncher, began to solve him. Hatton is not a counterpuncher. Hard left hand by Hatton. Ricky has decided to fight fire with fire.
And what he's going to have to do in this case, sure, he just to try to smother this guy and get close. He's trying to punch at a certain distance. Pacquiao is actually just too sharp or accurate a puncher.
You heard Floyd Mayweather saying to Hatton, you can't just jump all over him. You've got to move your head. You've got to think. You've got to do the things we talked about in training camp. Hatton seemed to believe that he could physically overpower Pacquiao from the beginning.
Yeah, he knew in the beginning he was going to take the risk of getting caught, and he did. Because coming in, Pacquiao still is the puncher. The physical strength is still with Hatton, but the punch is still Pacquiao.
Hard left hand by Pacquiao. Stunned Hatton and knocked him back. Look at the brilliant accuracy of Manny Pacquiao, landing with both right and left hands. Misses the right hook there.
What Ricky needs to do is to smother him. He cannot see to deal with those punches. He needs to push him. Just what he's doing now.
Good left hook inside by Hatton. And then he closed down Pacquiao's left side. Hard right hand again by Pacquiao. Ricky can't see the hook coming.
Got behind the head. All right, okay.
Kenny Bayless warns Hatton for holding behind the head.
In Hatton's most famous victory over Costa Zoo, he just smothered him and didn't allow him to get off. He can't seem to be able to get close enough to Pacquiao often enough to do that. And Pacquiao's hands are so quick.
That's the point. Costa Zoo had about a quarter of the speed of Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao's blinding speed that sets him apart.
As well as his head movement. His head movement just is phenomenal. I don't think he's landing too much out of that exchange, but it's just his ability to punch, maintain balance, which he used to couldn't do. And his head movement is just too difficult for Hatton to time.
I think Pacquiao may have spent the first 2 minutes of this round thinking knockout and allowed himself to get a little wild. Now he goes back to more precision. Lands a hard body shot.
But Ricky isn't moving his head too much still. His head is still right there.
That is, oh my gosh, what a straight left hand. And will Hatton make it up from this?
Can he beat the count?
Is that it? And Kenny Bayless says, no way. That is that. What an amazing knockout shot. That is the most spectacular one-punch shot of Manny Pacquiao's incredible career.
Any fighter.
Not sure if they're doing the right thing by moving Hatton around. I'm not a medical guy, but he's in very bad straight stick. Once Pacquiao stopped thinking knockout and went back to boxing, then he got the knockout.
He timed him just right. Timed with a perfect left-hand shot as he's coming in.
Landing 34 of his last 53 power shots. 64%.
And you know, Jim, the interesting thing is, before this fight tonight, he had shown this kind of power against the best featherweights, Barrera, Morales.
Take a look at this. Take a look at this.
This is a perfect time.
That was super slow motion.
Yeah, and he never saw timed him coming in.
It's the first time he's knocked out somebody like this since he was at 130 pounds.
And Hatton's head hit the canvas very hard.
He was knocked out as soon as the punch
Double
landed.
jeopardy. He was unconscious from the moment he caught that shot. Goes to the canvas in the proverbial heap, and boom. Out of our camera range at that angle, the head pounded against the canvas. Here's another look. So Floyd Mayweather made his statement on a podium this morning, saying, I'm back and I'm still the best. Manny Pacquiao makes his statement right here in the ring, knocking out Ricky Hatton.
And his trainer, Freddie Roach, had predicted it would not go past 3 rounds.
Carol Hatton is sitting down. Ray Hatton is standing up in the white shirt looking away at the left corner of your screen. That's the Hatton family area in the crowd. They're hoping that their son is going to be all right. That's Hatton's fiance, Jennifer, in the red dress. And you can see the emotion on her face at this very moment. There's Ricky. And as we look at Ricky, we'll go up to Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, the end comes at 2 minutes, 59 seconds, round number 2. The winner by TKO victory. And now, the new IBO and Ring Magazine light welterweight champion of the world and still pound for pound, the best in the world, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao.
Two men have gotten the best of Ricky Hatton in his 47-fight career. Both of them knocked him out. Floyd Mayweather in 10 rounds, Manny Pacquiao in 2. And all credit to Pacquiao's trainer, Freddie Roach, who was angry about the publicity, angry at everything that Hatton's trainer said about him, and said, my man will knock out Ricky Hatton within 3 rounds. He did it. 73 landed punches for Pacquiao out of 127 thrown. In other words, he practically couldn't miss. 18 out of 78 for Hatton, who was still scratching and sniffing and looking for some way to be in the fight at the moment when the end came. An amazing display of speed and skill.
But his punches were so accurate. He was punching, slipping, ducking, and punching. I don't recall ever seeing a fighter that sharp that was doing offense and defensive at the same time.
Let's go to Larry Merchant in the ring.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Manny. Were you surprised how this fight went?
I'm surprised that the fight is kind of easy, but for me, I consider the fight is hard because he can punch. He have a strong left hand.
All right, let's take a look at the knockout, and you describe, what were you thinking at the time? Did you know that one punch could finish him? Describe it.
That's what our strategy, the one punch, hook by hook, left hook and right hook. That's gonna be the key of this fight.
All right, but going back into the first round, it was your right hook that was doing the damage.
Yeah. The first round is I expected my right hook is gonna be dangerous for him because he's open while he's coming forward and his hands is down. So
you think he was trying to avoid your left hand, which is usually your power hand?
That's right. But he's very surprised because I have a new techniques, the right hook.
Alex, Freddie, because you got the best training in the world. You got the best training.
Do you feel that a fighter who comes to you this way and tries to get to you, inevitably you're going to be able to impose your power on him?
Right here. Sir, like what I said, I'm always doing my job in the ring and do my best to make people happy. And like this fight, and there's nothing personal for me. It's I'm just doing my job.
All right. Speaking of doing a job, let's go back to the first round and take a look at the knockdowns and describe them. The first knockdown.
Yeah, that's the right hook. We study that every day in the gym. We study that every day in the gym. If you see the 24/7, I throw a lot of hooks in the training. So that's why he's very surprised on that style.
Is this fight as satisfying to you as your victory over Oscar De La Hoya?
I'm satisfied. Nothing personal. I'm just doing my job, and I'm always trying my best in the ring, to give more impression to the people.
All right, we all know that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is coming back. He's going to be fighting a fighter you had really tough fights with, Marquez. If he wins that fight, is that a fight you want, you and Mayweather?
Well, I can fight anybody, it depends how my promoter's negotiations are, and I'm just fighter and doing my job, training, and keep 100% in that fight.
All right, thank you very much again for a great fight.
Thank you, sir, and I hope everybody happy. Thank you very much to all of you guys who coming here tonight. Thank you.
Manny being Manny, and this is Freddie Roach being Freddie Roach. You predicted a third round knockout. I don't think we're going to hold it against you that you were wrong by a round. Why did you make that prediction, and what did you see happening in this fight that was going to make it come true?
Well, every time Ricky throws his left hand, he pulls it back and cocks it, and he's wide open for a short right hook on the inside from a southpaw stance. And we worked on that every day in the gym, the timing shot, and it just worked beautiful.
Did you know after that first round that, okay, now it's going to happen anytime, it's going to be over, or did you think that that Hatton still had the strength to make it a longer fight?
No, I knew it was over because Ricky doesn't have the ability, it seems like, to adjust. He fights the same way over and over again. I've watched tapes of him for the last 2.5 months. I know him pretty well.
What do you think about the possibility of Manny fighting Mayweather should Mayweather beat Marquez in July?
I think it's a very good possibility. It's a fight that if the fans want to see it, I think it's a natural fight out there. The two best fighters in the world. I think it'd be a great fight.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Freddie.
you.
Jim?
Thank you very much. And by the way, one of the stories which surrounds Manny Pacquiao, visible there, and that is that Freddie Roach's battle with Parkinson's, ongoing, is probably getting more difficult. That's one of the reasons Michael Moore has been brought in to help train Freddie, or help Freddie train Manny Pacquiao. But what an amazing marriage Pacquiao and Roach have forged, and it was visible in the way he used all of his techniques to beat Hatton here.
You know, this is Freddie Roach's signature fighter. You know, everybody has the one fighter that you're identified with. I've punched and I've had 3 between Thomas Hearns and Lennox and now Klitschko. But the chemistry between them is just fantastic. And, you know, he worked with Mike Tyson, he worked with James Toney, but it was not the same. But Freddie Roach is really into this guy, and they're working on combinations and everything that Freddie wants to teach him. He learns, he catches on to it. It's a great, great marriage, and this Manny Pacquiao is something else. I'm just thinking, since he landed here and he fought the guy from Xavier Ledwaba, and since he came here, I mean, all of the great fights he's been in, I'm just thinking about him, Morales, Barrera, and the Marquez, and De La Hoya. And now it's fighting Ricky.
3 with Morales.
Legendary wars.
2 with Barrera. 2 with Marquez. Amazing career.
He is the pound-for-pound champion, as far as I'm concerned, because he's earned it the hard way from 122 pounds up to 140 pounds. He hasn't ducked anybody.
And here's the most amazing part to me, Emmanuel. His life is visible chaos. I mean, there are very few of us on the planet who will have to put up with as much in terms of responsibility and the confusion which surrounds him and the difficulties that he faces naturally from his upbringing and the country in which he lives than Manny Pacquiao. And he hit the big time about 5 or 6 years ago. And since that time, he has evolved from being essentially a double jab left cross fighter to a guy who can do anything. So good now with his right hand that you could probably tie his left hand behind his back, and he would still be tremendously difficult for a lot of people to beat. What a learning curve.
He can do everything. That's what makes him so complicated.
Yeah, and he's obviously very smart.
Yeah, he can do it. Feet, hands, uppercut, jab, body punches, head movement, footwork, everything. He's got it all.
All right, we had hoped that Larry Merchant was going to be able to get a brief word with Ricky Hatton, but what we've been told is that Hatton isn't feeling well enough to be interviewed by Larry and is going to go to the dressing room from there, most likely after a knockout like that. I assume he gets taken to the hospital and examined for any subdural difficulty, any brain difficulty, which ought to be the case. Ricky's a brilliant and brave fighter. For his part, Emmanuel, he hired Floyd Mayweather ostensibly to become a better boxer and to achieve a broader range of skills. Wasn't that really unrealistic in retrospect?
Well, you can't change everything, especially when you're an over-aggressive fighter the way that he is. In both of his losses, he ran into punches, so to say. His big loss, he walked in, he just overly aggressively loses his balance, and his mind gets so much set on offense, he doesn't think about defense. But nevertheless, he's been a great, exciting fighter. He's been great for boxing and brought a lot of excitement here to Las Vegas.
Whether it's a rematch against Marquez, and a lot of people want to see that third fight, or it's a battle against Floyd Mayweather if Mayweather is able to beat Marquez in July. Will Pacquiao be the favorite against either guy, even though Mayweather, coming back from a year off, is demonstrably larger than Manny?
That's a great, great, great question. I think he would be against Marquez. I think against Floyd. I think Floyd still is a skillful, talented fighter that the public respects, and the physical size, I think, would be a factor. I think it would be like a toss-up. Maybe they may favor Floyd. But I don't know. Pacquiao's won the hearts of so many people that, hearts and emotions get to the way of betting sometimes and common sense. So I don't know.
All right, and as we talk about Manny Pacquiao and his prospects, you watch Ricky Hatton, vanquished hero 2000s, headed off to his dressing room. Emmanuel, thanks very much. Let's turn to Larry Merchant, who's now made it back from what was a really wild crowd in the ring, and your final thoughts on this brilliant performance by Pacquiao.
Very often you have no idea what you're going to get out of that boxing's box of chocolates when you open it up. But this was an occasion when many people thought, well, we were going to get some cherries with chocolate on it, and that the burden of proof was on Hatton to show that he could come forward and survive the early rounds to make it a long, hard fight, and he couldn't. Earlier we asked the question, can Manny Pacquiao live up to the flattery of being called this generation's Henry Armstrong? Once again, we got the answer.
Indeed. Pacquiao lives up to all the expectations and more. Bottom line, Manny Pacquiao ranks as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. Ricky Hatton was an applicant for that position. His application has now been tabled or sent to the circular file. Next up, Floyd Mayweather, the returning pound-for-pound #1, against Juan Manuel Marquez, who is the pound-for-pound #2, with Pacquiao waiting in the wings to see what happens. It's maybe just the beginning of an ongoing great story, and yet another brilliant performance to put into the time capsule for surely the most exciting fighter of this era, the knockout Filipino, Manny Pacquiao. Thanks very much for being with us on this HBO pay-per-view demonstration, or presentation, I should say. Pacquiao versus Hatton has been brought to you by MGM Grand, the city of entertainment in Las Vegas. Rockstar Energy Drink, party like a rock star. Tecate Beer, cerveza con character. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. And also HBO pay-per-view, the best in pay-per-view entertainment, brought to you by HBO. We'd also like to thank the following internet partners. Now for our entire crew, I'm Jim Lampley saying so long from Las Vegas, Nevada.